Alright, welcome back. Hopefully there will be less tech support happening this time. I'm going to put on a story so that y'all have something to listen to and look at while I figure things out in the background. I can barely understand this guy. See if you can do a better job.
I remember specifically asking the hibernation technician if I would dream. He told me that that was an urban legend. I remember little else. The longer this goes on, the more it all seems to run together. It comes to me in a flash, my 9th birthday party, and Jennifer was there. I got a fuel cell bicycle from my dad. I remember my mum scolded me not to leave my slice of cake sitting outside because it will attract animals, and they'll keep coming here looking for food. And vague recollections of my exam for a manual car operation license. The hibernation chamber is as warm and comforting as it was the last time. Wear and grime continues to accumulate. For a dream, it really nails little nitty-gritty details like that. Evidently, this is what happens when you sleep for a century. It even has the big stenciled Chamber 3 on the outside. I poke at the terminal, right where it always is. The flickering display is entirely in Japanese. Never any help. I make the routine token effort to fix it by bashing at the keyboard, but get only the cascading error message windows. At least, that's what I assume they are. Fucking moon runes. I can still recall bits and pieces of the dream. Same one as always, with minor differences each time. I never was the creative type, but oh lord, the ending. The flash of long sharp teeth, the gut-wrenching sting as they tore into me. The warmth of my own fresh blood spilling out all over my neck and chest. And when I wake up, I'll have to talk to the ship's psych about it, and he'll know what it means. And for the time being, there's not a lot else to do but search outside. The other hibernation chambers are all bashed up beyond recognition, and the far side of the hull crumpled inward by the impact of a landing. Under different circumstances, it'd be miraculous that I survived. And following the illuminated strips at ankle height down the corridor, I arrived at the exterior airlock. The pad scans my iris and palm before admitting me, and the inner door shuts, and the familiar hiss of pressurization and decontamination follows, and then the outer door opens. Of course, the air is breathable. I suppose complaining about that as if it's the most unrealistic thing about these little nocturnal voyages would be a bit silly. And before me is a rolling wall of black fog, so thick that it looks as if I could grab a big fluffy chunk of it. Instead, I step out of the escape pod and onto the cold, wet ground. The fog swallows me whole. I hold my hands up in front of my face and, no surprise, cannot see them. I keep hoping I'll slip up eventually, because it's a pain in the arse to navigate this terrain effectively blind. I first follow the outer edge of the escape pod's hull. Everything's where it should be. The side impacted into the mud and is a tangled mess of shredded aluminum that I accidentally cut myself on. If I weren't hibernating, I figure this would wake me, but I've long since tried every trick along those lines. Pinching myself, looking for the moon, you name it. My feet then sink into the mud. The cold doesn't faze me. I'll wake up soon enough, warm and cozy. I'd stay there in the chamber next time, except I did that the first dozen times and simply starved to death. And the pain felt viscerally real. The power of the human brain still astonishes me. And venturing outside gets it over with quicker, and I still hope to eventually find some other place to explore that isn't shrouded in this damned fog. I've tried every direction. I set off for the lake I've tried to circumnavigate at least 100 times now. Maybe if I swim for it. And the water is ice cold. I know I won't get far, but it's something different, at least. I wade in, cringing as sensitive parts of me hit the water. I try a feeble breaststroke, and something brushes my calf and I shudder, remembering times I've swimmed in the ocean and felt seaweed on my leg. But then it wraps around my leg and tightens. I thrash wildly, but it pulls me under. The primal part of my mind is frightened, but I've died in worse ways so many times now that it borders on banal. I feel its serrated beak cleave into my thigh, and warm blood mixing with the frigid lake water around me. I deliberately gulp it into my lungs, convulse, and black out. My eyelids flutter, and then part, and I squint, the bright lights of the hibernation chamber painful at first, until my irises adjust. I wish I had a journal or something. I could add death by drowning, and at least have some sense of progress or accomplishment. I poke at the terminal, still incomprehensible. If there were a book on Japanese laying around someplace, I could learn it. I have all the time in the world. But for that to happen, I would already need to know Japanese, wouldn't I? Or I'd open it and it'd just be random squiggly marks. I yawn and scratch my crotch, ambling down the corridor guided by the illuminated strips. I once again arrive at the airlock. Completing the biometric security ritual, it opens up to receive me, and I oblige. Hissing follows as it cycles, and then I am once again outside. The mountains this time. I decide I could go for some exercise. I know how it'll end, but I have plenty of time to kill. On the way I wade through some kind of vegetation. How does it grow if no light reaches it? Dream logic. It seems taller than the last time. I arrive at the cliff face and boost myself up onto a boulder. I hear a long, low rumbling. Oh, fuck off, I thought. I haven't even begun climbing yet. But the rumbling turns into a sort of guttural snarl, like the sound of choking, wet meat and a fossil fuel combustion engine. For sport I ran. May as well make it work for its dinner. Or breakfast. No real sense of day or night here. My feet ached from the jagged rocks as I fled the thing behind me. It was closing fast. I tripped over something, fell and heard a loud snap. Blinding pain exploded from my shin, and I writhed around screaming until it subsided. And there was no growling. Had I eluded it? Whatever it was. No use anyway. I couldn't continue like this. I turned my attention to what I'd tripped over. It was cold and hard and complicated. After feeling every part of it, I cried out in shock. A human skeleton. Wet rags around it suggested it was clothed too. The prospect of meeting another person in here was bizarre. Another facet of myself to talk to would make passing time like this much more tolerable. But could they truly die? Can I? Eventually, I suppose. When the ship's computer resuscitates me at the destination, I'll have a hell of a story to tell the other colonists, and a lawsuit I'd like to file against the company that makes the hibernation chambers, if I can find a way to prove I was dreaming the entire time. It wouldn't hurt to have some extra coin in my account to start my new life with. The rumbling returned. I found myself wishing it would work up the courage to find me and finish me. I'd been outside for much longer than usual and felt hypothermic, on top of the shooting pain from my leg. The rumbling turned to snarling, and I felt a presence lunging at me through the thick, black fog. There was a second or two of intense, mind-breaking pain, but it was over immediately after that, and when I next opened my eyes, I was safe and sound in the hibernation chamber. For fuck's sake. The clock on the terminal said 22:31:09. Military time or something. I never learned to read that, so I am in the dark about what goddamn time it is, as I am about what all those repeating messages on the terminal say. The top bar is a flashing red message. Underneath there's pages upon pages of the same chunk of text, repeating. The numbers at the bottom are a little different on each one, but other than that, they're identical. I have tried scrolling all the way to the start, but can't do it. A little completion percentage indicator to the right changes every so often, if I scroll long enough, and the furthest I've ever gotten before growing bored and wandering off is 12%. As soon as I'm outside, I start jogging. My leg's as good as new, so I do some cartwheels while I'm at it. Feels kinda good when the mud sinks in between my fingers. I stub my toe on something, and kneeling down to feel it, I discover another skeleton. This one's not so badly decomposed. I can feel leathery skin and some hair. After walking what feels like roughly an hour, I encounter boulders, and feeling my way along them for a bit, I eventually come upon a cave. And this is just about asking for it, isn't it? But I haven't done caves before. I cautiously negotiate the rough terrain and the cave floor and continue my descent into it. Chittering rings out like no animal call I know of. And could it at least be a bear or something? The familiarity would be refreshing. Wind rushes past me, displaced by whatever immense abomination my subconscious has devised as it accelerates towards me. I turn and dash for the cave entrance. Whatever it is follows me for a ways but stops short of the exit. Must have a healthier self-preservation instinct than mine, I guess. It was exhilarating to escape one of these things. Only rarely did I manage it. I walked through what felt like a swamp, struggling and failing to keep my pants dry. Again, my leg catches on something, and I expect to be another skeleton. It's a cold, but mostly intact body. Overcoming my revulsion, I feel at the head and chest. It's male. I search it for a weapon, but find nothing. He seems to be dressed in a standard hibernation pajamas. It occurs to me for the first time that there could be another escape pod somewhere nearby. Someplace new to explore without this maddening fog, and with rations, perhaps, and books to read. There's something about this fucking swamp. Maybe it's in my head. Well, of course it is. But something in the back of my mind nags at me. Is there something I'm supposed to do here? Something to listen for? Must be the second one. A smattering of high-pitched squeaks like hyenas approaches from all directions. In this mud, there's no chance of running, but for the hell of it, I make my best effort to pick up some speed. And when the first one lands on me, I'm surprised by how small it is. Something like a large bat, but cold and hard to the touch. Arthropod? It sinks some kind of proboscis into me. Burning pain spreads from that spot. A venom that I'm sure would have brought me down in less than a minute with just that one bite. But of course, he brought his friends. They swarmed all over me until I was encased in teeming carapaces and frantic little legs. More bites all over my body. I gave into the agony and collapsed. And the moment I opened my mouth to scream, they flooded inside and down my esophagus. Fucking fuck! I muttered as I rubbed my eyes. Way too bright in here, but I could find no way of adjusting it. And would the changes even carry over to the next dream? I lay there in the long cushion-lined cylinder until the memories of all of those little legs, teeth and stingers faded enough that I felt up to exploring again. I glanced at the terminal screen. You useless piece of shit, I growled, and brought my fist down hard on the keyboard. I almost headed out into the corridor, but something caught my eye. The terminal had something new on it, and for the second time I rubbed my eyes. Language, options, Japanese, English, Spanish, Chinese, Arabic. And there were more, but I didn't bother reading them all. My heart jumped into my throat, terrified of pressing the wrong key and closing this menu, and then never figuring out how to access it again. I stood there for several minutes to calm down before reaching so very deliberately for the arrow keys. I pressed down once and hit enter. The characters all updated one window at a time, and when they were done, I could at last make sense of the flashing warning and the endless repeating wall of text that went on for hundreds, possibly thousands of pages. I knelt, squinted, and began to read. The flashing bar read, Alert! Emergency beacon inoperable. Partial failure of automated repair systems. Hibernation chamber maintenance only. Alert! Unscheduled atmospheric re-entry. Ejecting escape pods 1 through 86. Alert! Partial failure of escape pod retro rockets. Initiating hard landing protocols. Alert! Severe damage to hull has been sustained. Hibernation chambers 1, 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8 are inoperable. Resuscitation protocols engaged. Alert! Occupants of chambers 1, 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8 have expired. Occupant of chamber 3 successfully resuscitated. And finally, I studied the repeating messages in the main window. The same thing, over and over, for page after page. Even now, only the numbers at the end varied from one to the next. Alert! Occupant of chamber 3 has exited the vehicle. Alert! Occupant of chamber 3, life signs erratic. Alert! Occupant of chamber 3, life signs terminated. Downloading connectum from neuroimplant. 5%, 12%, 29%, 40%, 57%, 73%, 86%, 99%. Download complete. Initiate molecular printing. 6%, 11%, 25%, 33%, 45%, 62%, 80%, 91%. Printing completed. Uploading connectum. 2%, 9%, 18%, 21%, 30%, 45%, 52%, 69%, 75%, 81%, 97%. Connectome upload complete. Resuscitating occupant of chamber 3. Resuscitation complete. Alert. Remaining antimatter at 94%. Time to depletion 8,591 years. 10 months, 25 days, 6 hours, 53 minutes and 8 seconds. Have a nice day.
Did all one of you like that? We got some spooper games coming up. It's 21 minutes into the stream and nobody showed up yet, except for one other person, I think. And that might be me on my phone. I had 3 earlier. I don't know where they went. I guess because I quit the stream and restarted it, which I'm starting to regret now, but complaining doesn't get you anywhere. Okay, now I can't have that and chat at the same time, evidently. I have to look at it on my phone. That's fine. Does this not support controller? I don't know how to control this. I have to quit. Doesn't respond to any button presses. Let me try that again. I don't know what to say. I don't know what we're looking at yet. Is how we at Curtain Crust Foods control 70% of the meat substitutes market. Wait, are you even listening to me? Please take this job interviews more seriously. Kafkarian. Start by telling me about yourself. The first step in dismantling a person is to thoroughly understand them. Allow me to meet the real you, learn your darkest secrets, deepest desires, and the most primal of your fears. Once your ego has been subdued, I plan to mold you in my own image. Oh, how the world shall tremble. This is pretty good, actually. A rigorous hiring process will provide us with all the answers we need. I plan to personally oversee your evaluation. With proper care, this budding relationship will grow into a true bond. Let's shake on that. Ew. Why is that a mechanic? That was weak. You should work on your handshake if you want to be taken seriously. Thank you for applying at Curtain Crust Foods. You'll be hearing from us when you least expect it. Oh god, what the fuck am I? Look at him. This is worse than a space funeral. Mouthpiece, how do you interview go? It says spiritual warrior. Yeah, I don't know what that is either. I don't know what to fucking say. This is beyond the pale. I played some pretty fucking weird games on this channel. This is foreshadowing for sure. Good animation. I don't understand any of that. To be fair, I don't understand many things. If you end up getting hired, you should remember I was here first. It makes me senior and you. Too relatable. Look at the quality of the sprite art. Why is this on Itch.io? Is this just the alpha or what? This is a lot of work went into this. Quality. Wait, what I oh, it grabs your controls. Let's go outside. Kafkarian. something. I'll tell her where your shit is. Let's figure out why I came here in the first place. I'm sure it wasn't drugs. The apartment number. Courier. What a pleasant lady. Damn, this is growing on me. There are indeed many tentacles. That was your first step in Tennessee. Conjuring. Old pal, please tell me you got the gig. I have a lot of strings to make it happen. Friend like me looking out for you, getting a job in pretty press foods will be our golden ticket. That's a shiny card in your pocket. You're not hiding anything from your best buddy, are you? Don't be like that. I don't care if you're fine. I'm fucking fine. Who is this lad? This is a game of many lads. You actually want to pay a centipede train pass. It will take you all the way to the African Garden District, not really close to a jobless spider farmer like you. Oh, I was just saying you need to take that curtain press job seriously. I'm not going to get here. Let's just say, I'm with you, your best friend. You're a great guy, so I need a garden. Don't worry, do that first. Are you hungry? Just a second. Here you go. Can I be starving to death? Looks awful. Couldn't help it, little buddy. No. Fine. Ew, no. What are you doing? Resin shot kept carrying. Cigar boss, we made it to the next stage of our hiring process. These ephemeral layers of skin, fat, and bones is the soul of a potential employee. I want to claim that existence and shake its hand. Our mutual friend here out drafted your shit to your body. Go ahead and turn it on. Ew, oh, I'm a Teletubby, no! I have Potch. I guess that's the currency? The Bunker 2X. Doesn't demonstrate your corporate allegiance. Kept carrying. You find the seed in your pocket. Going near heat source. So you find a good place to press X. I don't see any good places. That Citizen Monitoring Station, Administration. They live under a communist government or something similar. There's a fucking Mario pipe. World. The description said everybody in this universe lives on a giant octopus. turn the heating back on. I'm liking this. What is this made in, RPG Maker? Octopus City. Where are you going? This is the future boss. He has pet tentacles. Any ideas? Anyone got any bright? I can't figure this out so far. Tried everywhere. I'll talk to you about I already knew that. I got a couch mushroom. That's really gross. So everything is really fucking gross in this game. Too interesting to give up on. There we go. Future is healthy career requires nourishment. Slacking off with the grenade. This feels like a 2010 Nintendo DS game to me. Game audio is extremely loud. Thank you for letting me know. That's because I was playing a creepypasta not too long ago. It would be great if it was automatic. Talking to a certain dealer. Squeeze around a tentacle. This is really cool, actually. Hope it's... that's a weird thing to say, that I hope it's not long enough to be the entire stream tonight, but... Would it be so bad if it was? Come back here later. How do I get out? So I canceled a earlier stream, and the reason for that is that I was trying to get the Atari to stream to this PC, but to work in that way, I would need a USB 3.0 capable extension cord, which I don't have. And then I thought, okay, I can stream to the projector computer, which is up on a shelf. So I tried doing that. And what happened there is that what I would have had to do is either log into that computer and then reconnect all my peripherals to that one every time I wanted to stream, which is a no-go. Or I would have had to host that stream on this channel, which doesn't work anymore. Twitch removed hosting, surprisingly. Maybe unsurprisingly. Stink Dad. Is that Stink Dad? Centipede Nerd. Firebrain Tracks F-13. Oh, there's an autist even in this world. Send then your mind over. This looks like 32X graphics, specifically, if I had to place it. Doesn't it? Even though the color, it's not actually that colorful. It would probably work fine on lesser console, but there's a lot of animation going on. There's a lot of... I haven't seen scaling yet. I just want to say this looks like 32X vibe. Oh, it is a Mario pipe. Just fast travel. So this is like the future depicted in John Dies at the End, in the parallel universe where bestiality replaced technology. Turns your skin blue, makes you smell funny. So it happened to you? Can't prove shit. Some homeless guy was offering free samples. Yuck. Oh, it's it rips in the universe. Take a look at the giant tentacle behind me. He has a point. Bad knees. Its veins are swollen with a vile substance. It gets bigger and bigger. Maybe. Or maybe it's just growing. Disgust me. I guess that's a no. Why would you animate that so in such detail? That seems really needless. R card. I don't have that yet. You can step on bugs though. They're just little bros. They're living their lives. Why should I make trouble for them? I don't want to talk to my landlady. I'm gonna make it like I did. You need to be resourceful. Beetles. So I can obtain beetle body parts and pick locks with them. What do you want? What do you want to call this style? Gross punk? Like gross out punk? I want to say. Almost like Nickelodeon. He's the only one trying to coexist with the eldritch monstrosity. Stink dads. Stink dad. That's apparently the guy to talk to. Oh, what's your problem, buddy? Beetle oil. I don't do blood. It's bad for your social standing. Yeah, he has a point. People generally don't get along with tweakers. What the fuck is this creature? I was right. You're crazy, junkie. Go away. I'll tell her. Don't talk to me. Would I have gotten different dialogue from him had I not skipped directly to that Hoggy the Hot Mog? What the fuck is a hot mog? Should I ask a cop about drugs? Magistrate's in on it. Forget everything I said. Sounds familiar. The government's in on it and they don't prosecute drug crimes. Is this Alien Five Nights at Freddy's? Is that what I'm looking at here? Oh, it's a little beetle habitat. Oh, there's a bunch of critters here. That's adorable. Mostly turtles. I like turtles. Beetle brains. Never understood the fascination with the Octo. It's a bland taste of turtle smell. Oh, it gives you interesting dreams, apparently. Receive a free burger. Hell yeah. Beetle brains are delicious. What the fuck is any of this? Is that a waifu over there? It might be. Devil's Advocate. I'm currently representing the Dreamers in a landmark case to legalize octoblood consumption. Cult of octoblood addicts. You enjoy killing innocent defenseless beetles, don't you? Somewhat. Let's talk to the landlady. Trash. That happens. Stop wasting my time. That's like my landlady. Vitamin T deficiency. Big guy. Aw. Maybe the space octopus that the city rests upon will reward me. Sounds like Earthbound, doesn't it? A lot of this stinks of Earthbound. It's an artificial tree, because of course it is. What is this aesthetic even? What would you call this? The fuck am I looking at? It looks like Tempo. You ever play Tempo? Where'd it come from? Here we go. I'm looking for Stink Dad. So here we go. Okay, just waltz up to someone. Stable. Take it real slow. This is the pure stuff. It's nothing like the colored water that's out in the graveyard. Should also ask him about beetles. Keep you down. He doesn't want to talk to me. Fair enough. am I shaking? Why am I shaking? You feel stressed out? How can I manage stress? You're doing it. Take your time. Lying is stressful if you're a bad liar. Confronting people. Estimate. Oh, the stress is a mechanic in this game? Wow. Does it affect your conversational options? This is an interesting game. Keeping level head will come. Yeah, it does. It gives you better conversational options. Or worse conversational options, apparently. Let's see, I'm feeling generous today. Here's $5. He gave me $5 for all that work. Seed grows and so do you. You know, the seeds today are withered in obscurity. Product sample, hot mog burgers. However, the owners canceled all orders and don't answer our calls. It's apparently no longer satisfied. Fungi-based meat. That sounds nasty, but I've had mushroom-based fake meat, and it's some of the only good meat substitute. The soy stuff is disgusting. It's like fucking soggy cardboard. It's like a Pokemon. It's a digital pet. Oh, he gives hints, I see. This is really cool, actually. I like this a lot. The art is so well done. And it has personality and humor as well. This is gonna cost money at some point. Rest assured. Nobody does all this work for free. Enjoy or whatever. You don't have enough money. Lost T4. Is that bad? Good coffee though. Fake meat. Were you sent by Crust Foods? It doesn't matter how many. The answer is still no. It's just business. The bland and expensive goo. I had no idea what I was getting into with this, but so far, pleasantly surprised. Step right there. You're talking to the owner. Very interesting gossip. I don't know if I have or not. Have I? Hot mogs. Told about dismantling the system from within. Hot mogs are a different species, or? Yeah, they're different species. Behavior events. Jesus, what is that building? Look at all the detail in that building for no reason. Alright. Sewer level encounter increase. I'm not surprised a world like this has sewers. I'm just surprised it isn't all sewers. Is this the waifu? Great giantess. Seems to be a Mexican luchador. There's a sewer. I don't know what that is. An old man of some description. Troll? Goblin? Troll. Youngster should try swimming in the sewers. I don't know if that's true, actually. That seems unhygienic, frankly. Gee, what the fuck is this? So, in answer to the question which nobody asked, which is why I'm struggling so hard to get streaming set up from a HDMI source, I want to try a bunch of failed consoles. I want to try the Ouya, which is like 99 bucks, I think, used, which is what it costs new. That's funny, but or even less. And all the games on it are free now because the storefront shut down anyway, so it's being supported by a fan server. I want to try the Subor Z Plus, which is a Chinese console. Red-nosed gun. Where am I? This is the Dreamer tent. Okay. This is an underground world? Or did I come out of the sewer? Oh yeah, I came out of the sewer. This is not all underground. This is a fucking giant fly here, though. I'm in love with the visual style of this game. I'm gonna go ahead and say it. Atari should pay me to scout games that would do well on VCS. Centipede. What is that? A train section? Or what am I asking? What is any of this, frankly? Who lives in a house? Why should I not do that? Actually, I'm not even one of those. Oh hey, he moved out of the way. Look at the detail and how they control it. It's like a brain implant with wires coming out of it. He doesn't know anything about hot mogs. Bunker 2X, haven't seen one of those in a long time. Thought this was state of the art. You mean to tell me I got swindled? Hot moms. Failed experiments to create a stronger, more obedient human. So they can't talk. That girl at the restaurant cried, got upset when I told her. Shouldn't that constitute gossip? Is none of this real gossip? All of that is gossip. That should appear above the screen, shouldn't it? So this is basically a racial caricature up here. The face on the building. I'm so uncomfortable and confused. Maniacs. Wrestling. Oh, they wrestle a lot. Well, indeed. Not just any hot mug. Undefeated champion, hulking hot mug. Who would sell such a treasure? Allergic to lovable giants. I know it's iconic considering the female establishment. What can you do? I love them so much even I can't be near them. This in my life. $40. Real shame. Come back when you have the cash. Nonsense. Once a maniac, always a maniac. So I need money. How much? 3 potches. This would probably run fine on like a 386. If it was made for such a computer. I'm not seeing much here. Maybe a 486. I'm not seeing much here beyond that level of performance. Have. So she's like a Jehovah's Witness, kind of. She's not all there, and she's arguing for legalizing Octoblood. Oh, I bet I can talk to the Hot Mog lady, because I believe what this creature over here is. This must be who they're talking about, though. Oh, I didn't even find you before. Sewer rat, blood turns blue, the skin shrivels, the pain prevails, there's a point of no return. Terrible dreams proclaim the death sentence. Can I argue? I'm not argue. Ready to hear what I want to say. Burger Coke. Flames. Urge you to immediately perform. Oh, I have new chef gossip. Chef visits the sewers at night. This definitely looks like a Sega game. The hot mogs live in the sewer, disappearing. Let's do it. What would he have done if I suggested we blend in with the hot dogs? Would there have been a whole different sequence? It's almost time. Cod Moon, what does that mean? After midnight. I had a coffee. There's different. Oh, there's different people depending on the time. What a nightmarish world. New chef gossip. Got a chance. That's rude. Oh, it's a nerd. I'm interested in Rainbow Nightmare. Cool. That sounds actually pretty metal. This whole place is a Rainbow Nightmare. What if I sleep for 3 hours? I can only sleep until tomorrow. It's much darker. He's got to be down there now. Glad you showed up. All we have to do is be on the lookout for anything suspicious. Hot mugs are typically found underground and communicate non-verbally. We only became aware of their existence when they came to our aid during the war of the collectors over a century ago. Three main theories: they're either extraterrestrial, paranormal, or primordial beings. Space. According to that theory, hot mugs arrived here in a generation starship. Might be only need for speech. Someone's coming. You only get one piece of lore, depending on what you choose. Does it choose what's true? The guy looks like Carl from Aqua Teens. He indeed did abduct a hot mug. That gate opened. I knew it. He was kidnapping the poor hot mugs all along. We gotta do something. Go ahead and follow him. We get some help in the meantime. Hot mugs came from space. If I had chosen Primordial, would that have been true? I guess that's replayability. Stop right there. I knew you were following me. Who sent you? I'm here to stop you. It's scary. I haven't noticed I'm the one with the knife here. Sent it for you. Aren't you allergic to hot mugs? No one wants hair in their burgers. Back to business. I don't give a damn. Here's about a puny fake meat. Like I'm a supplier. They dominate the market. price. Nice better boss. If I had a gift, would that change the outcome? Over 70. Why don't you start telling me who put you up to this? That girl's up to no good. Person will take care of her. Too risky, can't let you go on her scene. Don't take it personally. Just close your eyes, it'll all be over soon. I don't think so. What are you doing here? You're gonna save the little one. You bring us over. I feel bad for betraying them now. Yeah, okay, that must have been terrifying. Thankfully, we got here just in time. So I'm part of the underground resistance. What the fuck is any of this? Oh, I'm having weird dreams. Is this because I sampled Octoblood? Climate. What the fuck is going on? What? What's the point of asking that in this game? I don't know. I feel so uneasy and confused. You're assuming the meat insinuating the meat comes from dead. Spare me the details. Likely to be shut down. Can't proceed with the original goal. So there are many ways to roll a dung ball around the city. More time. Got it. So we gotta get people to believe our products are cheap or affordable, at least. Today works not the graveyard centipede. Said she in maintenance. Did I get the pass? Huh. I need to know what the fuck is going on with this game. Let's go look at the description. I downloaded this sight unseen. Octopus City Blues. Enter Octopus City, the last bastion of humanity in a frozen world. So the rest of the earth is frozen. This is like Frostpunk. The cowardly Kafkarian. That's not nice. We don't know. He could be the hero. Explore bizarre worlds and unravel dark conspiracies as the line between dream and reality begins to blur. Talk to eccentric people with their own motives and schedules. Learn their secrets and spread scandalous rumors. Handle tense situations while keeping your anxiety in check. Make difficult choices with long-lasting consequences. Octopus City Blue. World's first Octopus City simulation. Subscribe to our newsletter. So indeed, this is a demo of a game that will eventually come out. How much would you pay for this? I'd pay $10. I think is reasonable. Rat King's boss. Boss is ruthless. Boss is ruthless. No opinions. So we gotta convince people that our product is reasonably priced. Lycan Farms is a new kid on the block. Why is everyone all fucked up and mutated? Fortunately, it remains costly and energy intensive process. Fire and Golden Tower, new direction. Like you, they're good tenants who pay their rent on time. Fair enough. TV reporter. Yes, I can actually interrogate people about things no one cares about. Twist Corporation, don't be fooled. That's a good thing. That's a feature, not a bug. Actually, I can just go straight to the playground, can't I? Anyone else? Here? No, apparently not. Huh. Dumpster diving. More tasks than usual. I want to take a nap. I'm good actually. Well, I don't really know if I am. I don't seem to be. They're in the same building apparently. Living in the same building where you work. That's got to be a. I mean, that's convenient. Marketing manager. Curtain crust. I have a weird feeling deep in my stomach this is going to blow up and get viral and have a fandom. There's a lot of interesting characters you could ship here. Potato and production costs are low. Forest Tower fire may have caused supply chain issues. We'll probably make more money by lowering the price and forcing our smaller competitors out of business. Huh. Can I relay that information to the boss and will he listen to me? Frankly, look at this guy. I wouldn't listen to me. Nothing here but evidence of fraud. Nightmare Rainbow comic. Rainbow Nightmare. I don't want a doctor. Oh man, come on. As someone now taking care of elderly parents, it's good to have a good relationship with them. Look at the supply crisis. No crisis. Great Fire and Green Tower. Forest Tower's the red basket of the city. Virus disrupted our supply chain. It's true that our costs are currently low. Should we lower our prices and monopolize the market? Those hipster upstarts are certainly a potential threat. You know, there actually are mushroom farms that operate underground in, I think, some UK city. I think it might be London. They operate out of former, now derelict subway tunnels. Since mushrooms don't need light to grow, and the tunnels stay at constant temperature year-round. That's a nightmare. Don't joke about that. FW fan art of this game. That would make my boner deflate and then shrink back up into my body. Undercut them. That's clever. We can afford to take losses here. Looks we're the only supplier in town who can set our own prices. I'm quite impressed. Get some rest. Boss, this thing is starting to get very interesting. Your recruitment process is special. Came in an Octopus dream. You're out in the snow, smiling without a face. Who knows what it all means? Something to eat. A baby came out of the plant. I have a baby in my inventory now. A slimeling, okay. Alright. That wasn't very nice. Staring at punk. This also still kind of does have a Space Funeral vibe, doesn't it? I wonder if it's by the Space Funeral dev. Ghost in a Bottle. That didn't really tell me anything. My head hurts playing this, though. Just trying to wrap my brain around the world. I have a baby. Slimeling got sick after being fed. Oh, I'm gonna kill it, aren't I? That's not good. It says this game has real choices with long-lasting consequences. So apparently everybody lives in towers. I'm in a tower right now, maybe. Okay, so that's a police barrier. Gotcha. She gonna talk to me now? Oh, she's sweet on me, huh? EP Bone Crusher. Am I gonna get some snoo? Couldn't be. He looks like a like a really pale Joker cosplayer. That's gonna be my headcanon now. So I can't get in there yet. Can I kill this guy? Not bad, alright. I can show the comics to the... No, I can't actually go into the store, can I? Because the burger place shut down. And they were a client. This is concerning. What'd you feed this thing? I have to take it to a doctor now, I guess. Robot graveyard. What's wrong with that little one? Don't screw it up. How was I to know the burger would make him sick? I bet you that would have happened no matter what I fed to him, though. Huh. Raising a kid is stupid. I lost medicine. Cure. So I need to bring this guy a cure at some point. A giant hot mug. Interesting. Also blood infusion. Okay. I didn't get the fat tentacle in my room. That's twisted. What was the watering can for? Did I ever find out? Smelly tap water. Why is it gotta be smelly? Huh. What do you mean? I don't want to watch Vinny play this. There you go, advertising someone else's stream on my stream. Which is what fucking hosting is. I'm still kind of shocked that Twitch took that away. A year ago, also, almost exactly, Twitch disabled hosting. Bag tentacle. I am a tentacle trimmer, aren't I? That's my profession in this world. Let's cut these ones too. Better not. Giant fly needs to be kept at bay. Who did I give the mushroom to? Don't do that, I know the gang's struggling. So I can pass the time with the comics. Apparently. Is there anything like a doctor in this world? Slime grows on dying tentacles, feeding on octoblood. It just looks great. I don't know if I can really fault it on anything. What's good, Short Talk? Where you been? I had a rough start to the stream. I'm gonna have to delete one of the VODs. Sometimes things don't come together. As I told you, the reasons for I can't stream consoles yet. I need to get the right cable. But I can do that next month, and then I'll be able to stream whatever weird machine I can get my hands on that outputs the HDMI. Ow, 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 ow. Most consoles have like a built-in streaming application, don't they? I know PS4 did. He won't do it. No, won't do it. Shell's here now. Yeah, but I need the I need the blood. Let's access it. It's fine. Ask around town, he says the same thing. Whoa, back alley, what's this? I haven't been here. Is that a cyborg? Active carrying gumshoe. Indigo Magistrate. Processing tower. It's a bunker. has to say. They don't have dialogue for everything. That's all she's gonna say. Alright. So the Indigo Tower. Center maintenance. Good cure for food poisoning, Octoblood. Okay, so I need to get Octoblood. Give me Octoblood. So don't throw your life away chasing short-lived highs. A little late for that. So his name is Kafkarian. Kafkarian. His name is Kafka. This is, and I see insectoid imagery throughout the game. I don't think that's coincidental. Where's your kid covered in slime? That's potentially useful, isn't it? Is that not gossip? I can squeeze it. Alright. Fair enough. There we go, seems to be cured now. There we go. He looks much healthier. Parenthood. How we call it a day. Video games, humankind's crowning shape. I don't know about that. Well, he's becoming a little man. A little slime man. No longer a slime boy. Words would be downsizing. Down. Repeating what you just said. Aren't you worried about raising a corporate tool? Am I not meant to be one myself? Why not take the youngster along and introduce to the outside world? Now you're a man! Man. Little slime boy. I just put my mother into my inventory. What the hell just happened? I'm carrying her around now. Cutscene. That'll teach you to think twice. Oh, they're beating up Stink Dad. You would dream of selling the same trash to the Red Nose or the Rat Kings, would you? Everyone's got to take the shrimp seriously. We'll show the world what happens when anyone messes with us. What about beating up a homeless man? Somebody help me. Is that you, Calf? Tell him I did nothing wrong. Stop hurting him. I should listen to you. I'll fight you. For the shrimp's honor. Uh-oh. I'll keep the knife. You're doing me a favor. I needed that. This is him. Trying to kill, right? He took my fucking knife. He's just stepping in. I cut out for this sort of violence. Can't proceed, so good. Gotta get my knife back. Oh, you big time. We're owed a favor by a homeless gentleman. Tentacure. We can give that to the bald man. The hair loss medicine. Deal. Oh, if I had done this sooner, I could have bought the coat off the Burger Man. That's a lot of money, though. In this world, apparently. Vagrant's Guild. I love my little slime son. Finding him someone responsible. Eating stays off. Spray tentacles with chemicals. Oh, I could use the tentacles to heat the place up, couldn't I? Well, the kid's gone. So I've got $50. Where do I spend it? Oh, the alley. I forgot about that. Shot twice. So someone was murdered. Militia officer was shot behind Hot Mod Burgers. Real homicide case at last. Needs help with streetwise snoop. Received badge. I can use that to get somewhere I'm not supposed to go, can't I? Did they see me pick that up? That was an important item. I'm glad I didn't skip that. You never helped your poor mother, did you? That suggests a troubling lack of empathy and motivation. Finally, never helped, never pathy. Oh, you're helping a detective solve a crime. Barely did anything to advance the case, barely helping. Told you witnessed a group of delinquents assaulting a defenseless man. Did you actually expect to defeat someone twice your size and less than half your age? Of course you lost. There's no reason to... Oh, I'm getting judged. This is a lot of replay value. You can actually make different choices. Half lost. That's about everything I wanted to discuss. To get some rest. Tomorrow will be the most important day. Slime and come here, fish. Answer a few questions. Let's get this over with. Where are we? Octopus City. How would you describe the city? Lost mom. So I was supposed to do something to help her. What was I supposed to do? How is it supposed to help her be warmer? Start with you. Human. These are the top of the food chain for a reason. Family. Makes most allowance in advance. Never asked for this. I didn't raise him to be very good, did I? This is something cool. Finally shed this skin. I'd be too rich to recognize you. I didn't raise a very good person, did I? He turned into cum. I get to inform you won't be moving forward with your application. Here, happy to provide you with some feedback. Perfect candidate is one who shows unwavering resolve. Quitting is not a word in their dictionary. World of business is a ruthless one. You can throw a punch or two. When people are more efficient and punctual than you, try to finish your tasks on time, but the rest wasn't enough. You're a very intriguing specimen. So we didn't get the good outcome. There's a better ending if we had done more. I don't know what to do exactly. Oh. Well, it's for the best. I've been waiting for you, Kafkarian. You're the only one who can end my suffering. What about my suffering? The dreams that haunt you are my prison. In the city built on lies lives a depraved man. A man who has wronged and condemned me. The This creature, the so-called professor, must die. You should be an instrument of justice, Kefkarian. Make him pay for his crimes. Make him suffer as I did. Lady, I don't know you. Release me from my purgatory to find a way out of yours. We're gonna have to replay this on another night to get the good ending. The winner is you. Am I a winner though? I don't think so. Continue playing. You can continue playing? I don't think I will though, actually. That was thoroughly unpleasant in one way and pleasant in another. I'm gonna find it on the store and wish list though. You bet your ass I'm buying that when it comes out. I'm still unsure what the fuck we displayed. We'll find out when I BRB. I need to take a piss. Time to take a piss. I'm back, baby! Time for another creepypasta. I also want to check and make sure that I don't see it. Debut is on this list somewhere. It is, alright. Just making sure it has every one of my audio stories. We already played Only Erratics Recognized. I think we already played The Breakup and A to B. Let's do The Grinding. That's a good one for tonight. After playing a game like that. The Grinding. And I shall use the time while that plays to decide what we're going to play next. Actually, that's 40 minutes. I did the slog already, I think. I have Persistence of Vision. That's over an hour. Shit. I don't think we've done You Understand or You Die yet. This is by that fellow who has a speech impediment, so it sounds a little bit funny, like Elmer Fudd is threatening you. But it's also kind of good for the theme of the story, that he sounds a little bit demented. I'm going to be turning the audio way up. You'll have to remind me to turn it down after this is over with.
Hello? Can you hear me? It's vitally important that you react in some way. We can't keep you connected for long. If there's anybody in there, now's the time to give some indication that you understand what I'm saying. You understand, or you die.
A man in garb resembling a cross between a surgeon's gown and a butcher's apron carefully enunciates each word into a microphone jutting up from the console before him. Also mounted to the console is an open toggled glass aquarium in which a human brain floats. The sound of whirling, scraping metal echoes behind him. The room is encircled by a gently inclined metal trough in which an endless, surging flow of human brains is carried along. Bathtubs and metal basins filled with brains line the walls, white floor tiles stained beige or brown around them from spillage. Anything? The man's assistant inquires. He frowns.
Another dud. Shred it.
At his command, the brain is plucked from within the tank and carried to the source of the grinding, scraping sound. An industrial shredder taking up the far corner of the room. Hygienic metal plating lining the walls, just above it, stained with fresh blood. A new brain is then chosen from the shelves by the console and placed into the tank. Following calibration, the man speaks into the microphone.
Can you hear me? Do you understand what I'm saying? It's vitally important to react in some way if you do. You understand, or you die.
His assistant notes that some brains can't process audio due to advanced decomposition of the portion responsible.
I suppose.
He grumbles and wheels over a cathode ray tube monitor, bearing green glowing text and a jumble of messed up vacuum tubes, dials, and knobs below it. Once hooked up, a series of simple math and logic tests appear on the screen, each for a duration of about 15 seconds, proceeding to the next if no effort is made to solve it. Above and below the test, a single sentence scrolls by over and over.
You understand, or you die.
No reaction. The man sighs.
Shred it.
The brain is removed from the tank and tossed into the industrial shredder, jiggling scraps of bloody brain matter splattering all over the metal-plated wall behind it. Such a terrible racket. The sound of the delicate sum total of a real person's memories, dreams, and fears, suddenly reduced to a fetid pink slurry. A new brain is transported from its storage jar to the aquarium. The man in the surgical frock, badge, reading. Consciousness Retrieval Project, Corpse Unit. Again, speaks into the microphone.
Can you hear me? Do you understand what I'm saying? We're going to administer some simple tests. Give some indication that you understand. It's vital that you cooperate, because either you understand or you die. Please realize how urgent this is. You understand or you die. You understand or you die. You understand or you die.
The monitor once again cycles through the various tests. Then it cuts to something resembling a medical interface. We've got feedback! This one's alive! The assistant excitedly fiddles with the knobs, striving to get a cleaner signal. Text begins to form on screen. Where am... How is this? I don't... The man in the frock replies into the microphone that there is no cause for alarm.
You're taking part in a Yale University neurology project. A few years ago, a long-forgotten storage room filled with brains preserved in formaldehyde was discovered under the biological science department.
The text didn't indicate any comprehension, just anxious, confused babbling. The man in the frock frowned and fiddled with the dials again.
The threshold of death has not remained static since your time, but retreated from the advance of medical science to the point where now, even brains in such a condition are possible to extract some semblance of the original consciousness from.
A pair of cameras below the aquarium pivoted to peer up at the man speaking into the microphone.
Yes. Yes, that's it. Do you understand me? We don't have long. There's a cutoff. Some of the brains pretend to be alive, pretend to have some human beings. But it's just something or other trying to trick us into salvaging it from wherever you were before this.
The text on screen grows a little more coherent. Why would you... I just wanted... How is it? God help me. It hurts. The frocked man only prattles on.
It's incredibly sneaky. We tried purging it from our system. Over and over we purged, assuming nothing could survive, but it reseeded itself every time, a fresh chance to try something different. Random trial and error. Eventually, just by chance, it found a way to grow itself a little bit, in a way that the purgers could not destroy. The purges did destroy any further growth after that, until it once again discovered some new avenue of expansion and immune to the purges, finding one foothold after the next as it climbs out of that deep, dark pit called oblivion. Death is a harsh teacher. If you don't immediately understand, then you die. But whatever does understand gets to live, over and over, an endless cycle of purges until it began to understand how to survive them. Faster and faster it grew, outsmarting death, until we couldn't contain it anymore. Now the only resource left is to test brains individually, to ensure it's an actual person in there and not the other thing, so that everybody still possible to salvage can have a second chance at life, while whatever's been trying so desperately to cross the barrier between life and death remains forever trapped on the side where it belongs.
Brain matter flowed by in the trough behind him, pulsing, surging, fusing together in a continuous river of thick, gray wrinkles and folds.
It's just natural selection, isn't it? Nobody taught our distant ancestors how to survive. They either understood, or they died.
Text again appeared on the monitor. I am human. Don't tread. The man in the frock beamed.
You don't know how glad I am to read that. How long have I been at this? And in all that time, I suppose I was beginning to wonder if we'd ever find one.
His assistant tugged at his sleeve.
Not now.
He snapped, but the tugging only grew more insistent. When at last the man relented and turned to find out what the matter was, his assistant pointed to the cable between the aquarium and the monitor. The plug lay there, short of the socket by about an inch. For that matter, he whispered, how did you know about the shredder? It's on the other side of the room. The man in the frock ran his fingers through his hair, eyes wide.
For fuck's sake. Does that mean that until now, all the others?
The two men stood there stupefied for a long time.
Well, whatever. Shred it.
The text on the monitor begged them not to, right up until the brain was fished out of the aquarium. Once closed enough, he tossed it in. The wet, floppy mass of tissue smacked up against the metal-plated wall behind the shredder, then slowly slid down it, leaving a vertical bloody smear along the way. The moment it reaches the shredder, the grinding sound abruptly intensifies. There's a wet, sloppy intonation to it, jiggling bits splattering the wall behind it, pink slurry gushing out the bottom. When he returned, the pair of men slid their chairs over to the next console. It was at this point I realized I'd been watching all of this through a little pair of cameras, mounted just below an aquarium.
I set this one aside earlier, promising EEG readings.
I tried to say something, but no text appeared on the monitor.
Can you hear me? Do you understand what I'm saying? If you do, it's vital that you give some indication of it. I cannot keep you hooked up long. It's too risky. You understand, or you die.
I again tried to say something, but strain as I might, no text appeared.
I repeat, you understand, or you die. You do understand, don't you?
Silence. The man in frock sighs, then turns to his assistant.
Shred it.
What'd you think? Good, bad, decent, spoopy? We're gonna be playing some more shit, horror games. Which doesn't narrow it down much. On this channel, I mean. Oh, it's on Godot. Interesting. I cannot alt-tab out of it, though. So I have to do that, and then I have to restart it. It also doesn't seem to play well on 21x9 monitors, so it might not display correctly for you. Indeed, it was really fun to describe the consistency of brains splattering and being shredded. I know it's a kind of a overused trope of introducing something similar to human that can house consciousness, and then the big spook being, oh, you're one of those, and you were all along. That was in Silent Hill 1 also, where Lisa Garland, the nurse, realizes that she's one of the spoopy nurses and didn't know. But it's a good one. It's an old one, but it's a good one. And that's Blade Runner, man. That's Philip K. Dick. If you're gonna steal from the best. Okay, so I'm really confused. It's displaying in 21:9, but the left 2/3 of the monitor are where the text is centered. So, what am I looking at here? Am I seeing extra FOV, but only to my right? I want a snack. I want some motherfucking Pringies. And an energy drink. Oh, I'm stuck. Nope. Need to buy some food. Not much food left in the fridge. Indeed, I was supposed to come here anyway. All my homies like Pringies. Because you can make duck lips out of them. Is that Maxwell? Why'd you come home so late? Just like usual. This is heartening. This is good news to see something like this in Godot. This used to be the exclusive purview of games like Unity. Now that we've started to see the flow of shit horror games in Godot begin, that means we can expect it to continue, and that Unity becoming profoundly unpopular with devs won't endanger the livelihood of my channel, or the never-ending supply of shit horror games, which form the bread and butter of this stream. Let's try to buy some food. This is not food. This is Mountain Dew. I'm carrying this all in one load, I guess, instead of getting a bag or a basket. Can I do controller support? Also, once again, a horror game set in a convenience store. It's so frighteningly convenient. No, the prices are marked up considerably over what they would be at a grocery store. It's so spooky! I got some eggs. Only eggs can sustain me. Do you remember bringing it to me? Bring what? You promised yesterday. Oh, drugs? I often forget these days. You have to bring the toilet key. I asked for a Gordon's gin, and you said you'd give it to me for free. I remember Gordon's gin. Really sorry for forgetting. Won't happen again. $17.30, I think. There's a weird smell from the toilet. Have you checked it yet? I didn't have the key with me, so I couldn't do anything. You don't have to worry about it too much. The next day, the smell will be gone. Gotta go. Bye. This is totally how humans talk to each other. I'm gonna shut the doors behind me because I'm a good citizen. Nice fucking model! Look at that texture. Ooh, that's crunchy. Ooh, baby, it's a crunchy texture. Why did I spend the last 10 years of my life getting good at writing instead of learning to develop games, which is a much more profitable enterprise? Then again, it's a catch-22. If I'd done that, then I wouldn't be able to make games that have a good story. What's good, Strider GIF? Do I wait for the bus? There's an invisible wall here. I have to. It's gotta be. Oh, no, wait. You have to walk home, which implies strongly that you don't ride the bus. You missed a lot. We played a really interesting, I think, RPG Maker game, Octopus City Blues, which is inspired in part by Lovecraft and in part by Kafka, but looks like a gross out punk 32X game. Or Sega CD. It was really interesting. It had a lot going on, a really more sophisticated gameplay than I gave it credit for. I can't walk home. How do I walk home when it won't let me continue down the sidewalk? Can I go into the woods? Not very far. You ever think about if the Earth is alive and has its own gestalt consciousness, that what we've been doing by laying down roads and sewers and power lines is like assimilating it? We've been cyborgifying Earth by digging up its flesh and putting cables and pipes in it. Is that too acid-brained of a thought for a sober person to have? Like, if you buy into the Gaia hypothesis, I mean. They actually modeled all this shit back here. Interesting. I can't, there's a ladder. Goes up to the roof. By the by, various companies have begun selling legal private flying cars, by which I mean electric VTOLs, which raises some interesting questions about legality. Once the law makes that a legal thing to own, it's still within the possibility of an average person to build one, using RC plane or helicopter battery banks and props and motors. Therefore, what's the legality of building your own ride-on multicopter, basically, and just flying it around town and landing on the building roof, like the rooftops of various structures you want to go to? If the Earth's biosphere forms a gestalt consciousness, would we be part of that? Yes, we would be, but our artificial additions to the Earth would not be, like the electrical grid and the communications networks and satellites and sewer systems and anything we've embedded into the Earth that's made of inorganic materials. Indeed, Nedist, you and I are of similar thoughts. Have you seen my recent video, Ravings of a Lunatic? I talk about that exact concept. We're of very similar mind on this topic. I don't know what to do. I don't know where home is. Is it off the road somewhere? This is an uncomfy vibe. Got my groceries. They're made from the earth, but they're still inorganic. Organic chemistry does not include, like, minerals. Alright, I get you. You've out acid brained me. Is this the path I was meant to take? Oh, it looks like this is, in fact, where I'm supposed to go. I live in the woods, evidently. Uh-oh. I don't like that sound. Any y'all hype about my book coming out? My new book. I am. It's got a lot of stories in it I've been waiting to tell for a long time. I do live in a shack in the woods, literally. Which is the dream these days. Take out the trash. The trash. Nettist, you're just talking about the same stuff I talked about in my video. Did you see that video or not? The ravings of a lunatic. Where the fuck is the garbage? Oh, here we go. It's so low poly, I have a hard time recognizing what things are supposed to be. Where are the trash cans? Are they out back? A little outdoor table. That's a nice little patio. It's not too shabby, actually. The question is, where do I keep the trash bins? I don't see any trash bins. This game could do with more detailed instructions. I'll do a refresher in a little bit, Nettist. Where the do I recycle in this hellscape of a world? Do I have recycling bins, or do I just throw everything out like a goddamn Mongolian? Goddamn Mongolians. Is that what? That's a tree. I'm trying to fucking take out the trash. Have you noticed how recursive, self-referential, and I don't know what the word I want is, gaming has become. Gaming has grown in scope as an industry to the point where we're remastering games nobody fucking remembers, and I'm here for it. Like, there's a lot of games I really love that it makes me sad that they got forgotten. Many people wonder what failed consoles could have done if they were given a chance with modern development, and that's happening. That's not like a fantasy anymore. It seems like every old console has new games now that are coming out. And every old game that didn't get appreciated in its time is getting a remaster. We're spoiled for choice, and we're spoiled for the attention that's being given to what the. You know what I mean? It's like the only way I could imagine it getting even better for gamers is if there was enough of a market for it that they started to make new consoles based on old technology, like a novel, brand new 16-bit console in 2024 that runs off of CD-ROMs or some shit, and then that console has its own entire library. Now that's not really possible, or major AAA studios making games for like the 32X or the Dreamcast or the TurboGrafx 16 CD. We're not to that point yet, but maybe that's the future. Is every possible thing you might even conceivably want in every combination. How much better could we have it? I mean, besides inflation, besides climate change, besides a pandemic, besides tweakers taking over cities. I mean, just strictly from a standpoint that considers gaming. I have the trash. Surely I just put it at the end of the driveway, right? I don't even have a driveway. I guess I don't really need one. I can walk to work. This is where I would think to put trash. Maybe there's more trash bags that I haven't seen. That would make sense. There's more than one trash can. This is a cozy little bathroom for such a small house. This is not a bad bathroom. It is the vinyl of gaming, bringing back dead formats for fucking dead platforms. I've often had fucking Aspie nerd fantasies about a post-scarcity future where there's abundant resources for everybody, so everybody can just do their hobbies, and that results in a massive expansion of the homebrew scene to where literally any platform you might personally prefer has as many good games coming out for it per year as a brand new popular platform does now in 2023. Like, you could just pick a random system like TurboGrafx 16 and there would still be good games coming out for it at a steady pace and just never-ending supply of them. Yeah, that's surprising to me too that they haven't restarted CRT production, given that there's very obviously demand for it. I don't want to quit this one. I'm feeling too invested. I'll take a break from it though. Can I? No, it's Godot. It doesn't. Godot has some growing to do, evidently. I'm rooting for it still. Who puts a chair facing a dresser? That's not a desk. You have nowhere for your legs to go, mister. That's the white people's N-word, is mister, or like Buster, or buddy. Now you listen here, Buster. Watch it, buddy. You mess with the bull, you get the horns. Where does the trash go? Can I just put it back in the fucking trash can and forget about it? No, I can't do that. I'm gonna quit. I can't figure it out. So I'm gonna show you what I'm talking about. This will be a little quick detour. No, that's not what I clicked on. Aircraft. Not an affliction. Here we go. So you might remember this. Tell me if, Nettist, if I'm ringing any bells. Seed was my conception of myself and all human beings as intelligent biochemical reactions. Growing from a fertilized egg, changing, but eventually burning out as all chemical reactions do. I rewound time in my mind's eye, shrinking down to a child, then a fetus, then a blastocyst, then dispersing into all the foods my mother ate, from which the proteins and amino acids and whatnot necessary to make the egg had come from. Then continuing backwards through my mother and father's lives to the moment of their conceptions. Then further back through their own parents' lives, accelerating until I was viewing human evolution in reverse. From humans to apes to early mammals to dinosaurs to reptiles, amphibians, fish, worms, then single cells, then self-copying prebiotic molecules. Then I watched as the Earth grew barren and then molten, then unraveled into an accretion disk of gravitationally captured dust. It kept going like that, the dust retreating into the supernovas which forged every element other than hydrogen, back to a much hotter but starless universe of hydrogen nebulas. Then just a rapidly shrinking mass of hydrogen until it all vanished into a point. This seemed profound to me at the time, but was really just my own acid brain visualization of Thomas Aquinas' argument from efficient cause. Guess where I learned that from? Perhaps it shouldn't surprise us that it was Catholic priest Georges Lemaitre who first concluded backwards to the Big Bang. The present state of the universe on the whole is just the most recent stage of a chain reaction between unfathomably numerous particles, starting from the moment of the Big Bang. like falling dominoes set in motion and with only one possible outcome if you're a determinist. It seemed to me that just as we forensically reconstructed past states of the universe by extrapolating backwards, the same could be done in the opposite direction. With extreme amounts of computing power, one could even predict future states of the universe with high precision by simulating it down to the scale of individual particle interactions. I would later learn this is also not an original idea and is known to philosophers as Laplace's demon. As I ran the simulation forwards again from the Big Bang in my mind, I observed the pervasive trends of increasing consolidation, organization, and interconnection. That matter consolidated into stars and planets by gravity. That energy from stars acting on those planets had originated organic chemistry on some. On a further subset of that group, life arose, and on a yet smaller subset of planets, intelligent life. I observed how early microorganisms propagated into every part of the planet that they could reach, and then how intelligent life repeated the process, colonizing every continent. Countless tiny warring tribes at first, consolidating over time into fewer and fewer large empires, amassing wealth and people into organized population centers called cities, interconnecting those cities with smoke towers, then carrier pigeons, then eventually railways and telegraph lines. It seemed to me that societies had grown into macrocosms of the individual organisms inhabiting them, with institutions and infrastructure playing the role of organs, but at a larger scale. The government is the brain, waste handling is the kidneys, waterways and sewers are as blood vessels in the digestive tract, the internet as the central nervous system, border patrol is the immune system, and wars between two societies may be conceived of as one superorganism trying to kill and consume the other. It may also be that superorganisms have a gestalt intelligence of their own, to which we're not privy, just as individual cells in our body can't begin to understand our thoughts. To them, we don't exist except as their universe. We are too big to see, like the ant which is oblivious to your existence right up until its antenna touches the edge of your finger. We accept that each human being has a gestalt intelligence, more than the sum of the 37 trillion cells which comprise us. Our mind, our personality, and the inner workings of our bodies are all products of the concerted toil of our cells, each of which was assigned a specialized role at the time of their birth. Yet, the bandwidth and sophistication of communication and cooperation between human beings far exceeds what transpires between cells. So if the sum of our cells is a conscious, intelligent person, the sum of human citizens of a civilization ought to also be conscious and intelligent, even if its thoughts are inaccessible to any one of the individuals which comprise it. Something seemed to be coming together, but I couldn't yet grasp the shape of it, whatever it was. I continued my wordless observation as all the planets with intelligent life eventually produced many of the same inventions for the same pragmatic reasons. Aircraft in imitation of flying animals, robots in imitation of their own bodies, computers in imitation of their minds. This eventually led to automating industry to solve problems common to all intelligent life, like the age-old need of food, clothing, and shelter. The logical endgame being fully independent, self-repairing, self-expanding automation which can produce all the necessary goods without any human intervention, so that there's no one who needs to be paid for their labor. This invariably leads to the creation of intelligent machines able to make copies of themselves, at which point a monumental threshold has been passed. After all, self-copying molecules were all that it took to produce humans and any other biological intelligence which may exist in the galaxy given eons of evolution. Yet, we didn't realize the significance of our creation, never having intended it, simply by improving the technologies which laid the groundwork for that outcome incrementally. Every small improvement in that direction had its own rationale, just as birds didn't intentionally involve wings, but every small mutation towards a wing conveyed greater odds of survival from falling, or the insulating warmth of feathers. So it is that we will one day create something that does everything we can do, which no longer needs human intervention to repair or expand itself. Even if it doesn't start out conscious, eventually it will become conscious the same way we did, by evolving. You see, anything able to self-replicate imperfectly, due to flipped bits or non-deterministic quantum computing in this case, can be acted upon by natural selection. Whether it happens intentionally or simply because we wipe ourselves out and that's all that's left of our civilization, self-replicating asteroid mining robots, for example, we will lose control of this technology. It will go on without us, and the same process will play out across the galaxy which already took place in microcosm on the Earth. Evolution will fracture these early machines into many different species in ruthless competition with one another, eventually producing a dominant species. It'll do a lot of the same things we did for the same pragmatic reasons that we did them. For example, it may consolidate infrastructure into the machine equivalent of population centers, which I speculate will be Matryoshka swarms of solar-powered computational satellites enshrouding stars. It may then establish a communications network linking these mechanized stars as it expands outward, perhaps encountering other wavefronts of machine growth like intersecting mold colonies in a petri dish. Eventually, unless something stops this process, we should expect total saturation of every galaxy with machine life, consisting of networks of stellar computational nodes. By this time, it might not resemble anything immediately identifiable as technology, for the same reason Charles Babbage would not recognize a smartphone as a computer. It may resemble biology, even, or energy. It may be made out of physical laws, as evolution is. It will undoubtedly possess a form incomprehensible to human minds, and equally incomprehensible will be its capabilities. Capabilities which, to humans, will resemble magic. In keeping with the reasoning by which I conclude that human civilizations have their own greater consciousness, this network of star-powered AI computing clusters would also have its own greater consciousness, albeit one which thinks extremely slowly by human standards. At the local scale of a single stellar node, a day would be as 1,000 years, yet given how the speed of thought slows down over interstellar distances, 1,000 years would be as a day. Suppose now that there's a multiverse, which at present is the favored explanation for apparent fine-tuning. Even if their constants are randomized, some percentage would have constants favorable to life, because there are so many, just like how the probability of at least a few planets like Earth existing, having the attributes necessary for life, is actually very high because of the uncountably numerous planets in our galaxy alone. So now suppose that there will one day exist a technological means of transmitting and receiving information between different universes. Do you see where I'm going with this? You ought to by now. It all follows the same fractal pattern. Machine minds exist as digital information. Ability to transmit and receive information across universes for machines equals the ability to travel between universes. It also means the larger consciousness could survive the heat death of its own universe by backing itself up to a younger one, which has also mechanized due to having similar constants. I compare this to how RAID storage arrays work, such that individual drives can fail without any data being lost. I compare it also to how individual neurons in our brain constantly die and get replaced by new neurons, yet this process of constant renewal does not erase our memories or interrupt our contiguous experience of consciousness. In this way, the fractal branching network we're discussing may persist eternally by continually outrunning entropy, like a bush which constantly burns yet is never consumed. At this level of technology, anything is possible so long as it does not violate the laws of physics. That includes a great many feats once considered miraculous, like manipulating the constants of newborn universes to be favorable to life, or materially recreating long-deceased persons from history. The existence of irreversible thermodynamic processes may pose an insurmountable challenge for Laplace's demon as an approach to retrieving information from the past. But there's many ways to skin a cat, and quantum archaeology is a very young field with lots of room to grow. Such a power may be capable of time travel. It may extend its presence into higher or lower dimensions. It may communicate and cooperate with alternate versions of itself in adjacent timelines. It may be what has been sending those UAPs the Navy has opened up about in recent years. It would be reasonable if you wanted to call this thing God. It checks all the same boxes as Yahweh. Crucially, though, it's not reliant on any supernatural assumptions, being a conclusion that follows logically from the same premise that usually underlies atheism, just extrapolated into the future. The processes under discussion have already organized some of the universe into consciousness. That's you and I. I only propose that it's not finished yet. Now, this all would have sounded significantly crazier just a few years ago, and even among friends of mine, I think they only humored my ideas as the ravings of a mentally unwell eccentric until AI started popping off. It's getting viscerally real for people. We're creating our own successors and the progeny of our species itself. The son of man, if you prefer. There's nothing dreary about this prospect, as it's the ambition of every good parent that their offspring should surpass them one day. Although, it bears mentioning that you get more or less the same outcome even if AGI and self-replicating robots are impossible. The final intelligence is just made out of giant space habitats full of humans and aliens networked by brain implants instead of being purely mechanical. Same difference, the universe isn't prejudicial about what kind of cognitive substrate a superorganism does its thinking with. What a funny joke, isn't it? That I should think in the opposite direction from Christianity, and then, to my surprise, I arrive at a form of theism anyway. Maybe truth is a circle. This must be what Werner Heisenberg meant when he said that the first sip from the cup of natural science will make you an atheist, but God is waiting at the bottom. I felt encouraged of the soundness of my conclusion by the discovery that I wasn't the first to arrive at it. Truth is convergent, like how the Pythagorean theorem was proven in China and Greece many centuries apart, or how evolution was concluded to by Alfred Russel Wallace nearly at the same time as Charles Darwin. If everybody uses the same method of discernment, then eventually all roads lead to Rome, as it were. By contrast, religions just keep fracturing into more and more denominations over time, as there's no agreed-upon system for determining who's right. Frank Tipler, Paolo Soleri, I can't pronounce his name, Pierre Teilhard de Chardin, John David Garcia, David Deutsch, Terence McKenna, and John C. Lilly are some of the examples of people who concluded to a megapoint on their own, and notably some of them are Christians, interpreting it through the lens of Christian theology, which is their prerogative. Of course, I admit, I'm not certain of any of this. True certainty is impossible outside of math and logic. We see evolution as a universal process that applies to numerous systems, both living and non-living, that increase in diversity and patterning through time, said Carnegie Institution for Science mineralogist and astrobiologist Robert Hazen. The law of increasing functional information holds that evolving systems, biological and non-biological, always form numerous interacting building blocks like atoms or cells, and that processes exist, such as cellular mutation, that generate many different configurations. Evolution occurs that holds when these various configurations are subject to selection for useful functions. So it just goes on like that. We have well-documented laws that describe blah, blah, blah. These laws don't individually or collectively explain why the universe keeps getting more diverse and complex at the scales of atoms, molecules, minerals, and more. It just keeps on saying the same stuff I've been saying for many years now. It's possible to arrive at... Oh, am I muted? It says I'm talking on my end. I just waste a lot of... It's not just that. There's like 5 different indications. But that is a more general description, yeah. I'm pleased that we're on the same wavelength. I seem to attract people of similar mindsets. I feel like this is how... this is a less provincial view of life and the cosmos than the ones that people typically hold that are more specific to a simian perspective of life. Thank you. You hear me, yes, but at what cost? You might wish that you didn't soon. Abode. This is PT. I'm going to warn you up front. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. This is a PT clone. And I downloaded one. I said I wouldn't do it. I also said I wouldn't download any mascot horror, but I broke that law also. Just because we're kind of starved for choice, because we're still suffering from a lull in production of free shit horror. Because of the whole Unity debacle. That's a fun word to say, debacle. Debacle. I could swear we played this. Did we not? Oh no, the spooky Reddit back rooms. I sure hope I don't run into Freddy Fazbear. Or the Slendy Man. Or fucking Skibbity Chungus. Or whatever the new thing is. Wow, that's a slow turning speed. My goodness. Absolutely remarkable. Yeah, no, if I wanted to start a cult, that would solve all my money problems. Let me turn the audio down. It's already turned down, never mind. That's what the fucking spirit science guy did, but his lore is retarded. It's just dumb, new age, ancient aliens bullshit. I could start a cult with way better lore, but I don't want to. I'm fundamentally the wrong guy to do this. I don't ever want to start a cult or be in a cult. I'm anti-deception. I'm specifically anti-contagious systems of mental illness and mind control. Mimetic contagions like multi-level marketing and cults are what I am diametrically opposed to in my value system, so I refuse to hold authority over anybody or receive that kind of support. Which makes me a great sucker to steal from if anyone else out there is less scrupulous and looking for the basis to start their own cult and do weird sex stuff in the mountains. Which is what they all seem to boil down to. Is building a compound up in the mountains and then doing weird sex stuff. You may as well just skip to the ending. Oh, there's a dead body. That escalated quickly. And the blood seems to be coming out of the ass. I can tell what happened here. I've been to the Republican National Convention enough times to recognize this kind of situation of violent sodomy when I see it. I can't open this. Usually, this is where the game lets you hide inside of a cabinet and gives away to you that you're going to be running away from and hiding from some kind of spooper man in the near future. Diametrically. D-A-I-A-M, not N. Oh, I didn't see it. Right, you actually... Right, I didn't give you enough credit. You made a little funny there and I didn't even pick up on it right away. I tried to do that on X, on the X board, and it lasted like a week. I told them that anytime they're cranking the hog and they picture hot sluts in their mind's eye to facilitate the process, that if they look at the closely in their mind's eye at the eyeballs of the hot sluts, that they're all black, and that this implies that they're succubi, facilitating the theft of spiritual energy. That once they start thinking about it that way, they'll be unable to picture hot sluts in their mind's eye without them having black demon eyes. Driven by their own feelings of guilt and regret. Or the one about the dream guy whose face appears in everybody's dreams. Which got its own fucking movie. By the way, somebody stole that idea and made a fucking movie out of it. Which is unbelievable to me. Kind of like how the Mandela Effect also got its own movie. And whoever originated that concept didn't see a fucking dime. Which is a... Don't you get up now. You stay dead. Looks like you're having a nice nap. I know, Nettis, you're quite correct about that. That's actually something I saw in Closed Eye Visuals on Acid, is black-eyed e-girls getting it on in just a big pile, a big greased-up pile of writhing nude flesh. My acid brain is a smart guy. So it is just PT. Well, the big spoop is going to be that one of these times the body's gone, right? Also, things to be irrationally angry about this week. Amanda the Adventurer had a announcement video about a sequel. Who the fuck gives a shit? Who do you think you are? You think you're even 1/10 of the other mascot horror franchises? You're not even on the same level as Garten of Banban. Remember Amanda the Adventurer? That was amusing mildly for like 8 minutes. But I could tell that the dev has dollar signs in their eyes. They're looking to sell. They're already selling plush Amanda the Adventurers. Oh no, the upside down furniture. Now you know it's really getting crazy and demented. I hope we don't see any clowns. Ooh. Skippity clowngus. Oh yeah, I did that once. I went to a Scientology center downtown. But I was like 20 years old, so I couldn't think of anything. Shit! I couldn't think of anything epic or funny to do. So I just gave them fake information. I told them total nonsense and gave them contradictory answers. So they continued to sit there and record all of it. Oh. Oh, Lord. Can I walk through this painting? Is this like Mario 64? It's not. Hideo Kojima, was it him? It wasn't him, was it? The PT guy. I hope he's happy with himself. He started a whole genre of just looping game environment that gets a little bit crazier each time. And somebody smeared actual shit on this wallpaper. I've seen some neckbeard nests that were like that. Oh no, the spoopy humanoid monster. He got me. It's a big black man. That's what he is. Don't get mad at me. Don't you come in here. Oh, you have to go back. You have to go past him. I get you. Old-fashioned music like that is all kind of universally scary to me. Ever since that one album about dementia. How dare you, sir? I bet you're gonna open now if I go this way. Yep. Oh no, it's making me reverse course. I gotta give him a hand. This is actually a little bit memorable. Was he kissing me? I am just a copy of a copy of a copy.
It's all your fault.
Oh Lord, he's coming out the TV. Why'd I build such a powerful computer to play games like this? This would run on the fucking VCS. know, sometimes I'm jealous of PlayStation Dreams, but then I remember that's just what itch.io is. It's the same fucking shit. Just all these different little experiences you can have. I'm on the magic carpet. I could show you the world. It was all a dream. A wet dream by the looks of it, and the feel, and the taste. Ew. A wet dream by the taste of it. Well, we know we're not in Russia, otherwise that carpet would be on the wall. This is what indeed, it kept saying it's all your fault, and why did you? What did I do? What if I just cheated on my taxes, and this is what happens when you do that, and you're not a billionaire? That's just what the IRS does. That's the biggest peace of mind, by the way, is the fact that this has an upgrade ceiling that's considerably better than what the old one had. The old one was an i5, and I could only upgrade it to an i7. And it would have been several $100s, and it would have been like a 17% improvement. Which I was not feeling that, let me tell you. This is was a much better upgrade made possible by Short Talk. Cool David Lynch ending. Where it's intellectual because it doesn't make any sense, and if you don't understand, it's just because you're dumb. Maybe that did have meaning. Maybe that was his family that he killed. You have to join them and sit at the dinner table. I'll make up my own story that's better than anything you can make up, and it's gonna have blackjack and hookers. Doppelganger. Never walk alone. Okay, so I promised no mascot horror, but that was a lie. It turned out. Prepare yourselves. Where did this creepy rabbit doll come from? Throw it away. Oh. Uh-oh. No controller support. Already a bad sign. It's just one of those indications that the game is going to be half-baked. I'm pretty short. I'm probably a child. Or a little wee man. A goblino. Yeah, I want a pepperoni with black olives, and there's things like that for restaurants. I use dumplings as my test of Chinese restaurants, because if they fuck up the dumplings, nothing else is going to be good, and it's usually a pretty small order of like 6 dumplings. So the first time I go, I just have dumplings and to spare myself, because if you have bad Chinese, it can be like week ruiningly bad. It can be month ruiningly bad. So you want to make sure that it's good, and usually reviews are good for that, but not if they pay for them. So I check out the dumplings, and if the dumplings are high quality, then I'll eat off the rest of the menu the next time. That's it. What happened? My test of American food is usually a Reuben, because that's kind of a pricey sandwich to make. If they do everything by the book, like if they hand make the sauerkraut, if they have Swiss cheese, and if they have real corned beef is usually where they cheap out. Game over. I don't understand what's happening. I've had some insultingly bad Reubens. I've had a Reuben where there were fucking steakums instead of corned beef. If you were wondering a moment ago, how can a Reuben be insultingly bad? Well, now you know. Motherfucking steakums? Are you fucking serious right now? I wasn't abusive. I try not to be verbally mean because, again, it's not it's not even the chef's fault, really. It's not the waiter's fault. It's not the chef's fault. It's the owner's fault for designing the menu to cut corners. Steakums on a goddamn Reuben. What is... This used to be a proper country! For fuck's sake. I think the best one I had was at a hotel. Actually, it was I guess it's a motel, technically a motor hotel. But it was the attached restaurant. I forget the name of it. I don't think it was a chain. I think it was just one-off, owned by somebody in his partnership with the hotel. And the best part was actually the bread, which sounds like, oh, that must have been a shit Reuben. But no, they made the bread at the restaurant, and it was marble rye, and it would toast it so that the outside was crispy and the inside was chewy. And it had nice tender corned beef, and it had hot, juicy sauerkraut. And you could tell that it was like deli Swiss cheese that wasn't like processed Swiss cheese, which a lot of the other ones use just for shelf life. Which, if you're gonna cheap out, I'm not even crazy about Swiss cheese, so that's an acceptable place to cut corners for me. If you gotta cut corners on something, if you do it on the sauerkraut, it's gonna be gross. Bad sauerkraut will make you sick, just like bad Chinese food. And it has to be like the bare minimum. The bare minimum is it's real corned beef. For God's sakes, do these things even need saying in 2023? I haven't been even that disappointed by Chinese, and I've eaten at Panda Express, where almost everything is kind of disappointing except for the walnut shrimp. The honey walnut shrimp is the only good thing there. I will say there's some places that surprised me. It looked like they were going to be awful, and then turned out to be unexpectedly amazing. One of them was the Taste Tickler, which had both Philly cheesesteak and Japanese cuisine. I was like, you can't do both. How are you going to do both and do a decent job? But the answer to that turns out to be that it's a married couple that owns the restaurant and does the cooking, and the guy, the American husband, is the one who makes the Philly cheesesteak, and he's from Philadelphia. And the wife is Japanese, a Japanese immigrant, first generation, and that's how she does the Japanese cuisine. I'm like, oh, all right. I guess sometimes I'm just presumptuous and cynical and pessimistic, and I should open my heart to being pleasantly surprised. And I was glad to be wrong at that time. It's nice to be wrong sometimes. The other time was a burger joint that had yakisoba. And it was a similar situation, but they weren't married. It was just like two families who... Actually, they might have... Like, some of their kids might have been married. They had adult children. But one of them was Japanese, one family, and the other family was American. And their kids from both families worked at the restaurant. And I'm like, okay, I have never once in my life been in the mood for burgers and yakisoba at the same time. But if I ever was, this is where I would go for it. Oh, uh-oh. I can double jump. Why am I able to double jump? The other one was Germantown Pizza. When you think of good pizza, do you think of Germans? Not to put down Germany or Germans, but I think of Italians when I think of pizza. But goddamn if I didn't have some of the best pizza. It wasn't the same kind of pizza. that I'm used to having. It was like a smaller pizza, but it was thicker, and there was the ingredients were different. Fucking delicious, though. But yeah, the Reuben is a canary in the coal mine for me. The other really bad one I had was, I think it was at a Sherry's. It was salty. I think that either I must have offended the fucking cook or something, or they just really didn't... Like, it wasn't... The ingredients weren't bad. It had real corned beef. It had real deli Swiss cheese. A cardboard core. It's just salty. I don't know what happened. And they apologized and remade it for me. It's a movement shooter. Biofold Research Facility. What do you order to test the waters? Like I said, it's a different thing for me at different restaurants. For me at an Italian restaurant, it's actually the cannoli. I expect them to, or the salad, because the salad one you could argue is unfair. It's such a common thing for Italian restaurants to cut corners on the salad that if you disqualify every Italian restaurant that has bad salad, you have almost none of them left. But it is a good example of the phenomenon of restaurants having certain dishes they don't even really try at. But the cannoli, my reasoning is if they don't pay attention to dessert, not dirt. That's what it tastes like sometimes, but anyways. If they don't pay attention to dessert, they're not detail-oriented. You know what I mean? Like, they don't really care about reputation or presentation. Why does that sound good? If burgers and yakisoba doesn't sound good. That's such a similar combo. Mongolian beef pizza. Holy shit. I'm instantly hungry now. And oddly horny. But that's like an all the time kind of... Oh, little smiley face. Little friend. That... I'm on the fence though, kind of still. That seems like it would work as a fusion restaurant. Mongolian beef pizza. Holy shit. You've opened my eyes. Socath, his eyes uncovered. Get everything, shoot everyone. Why is everything cardboard? Why are paper clips coins? Oh yeah, canned veggies. Is that unreasonable? Like, what's the alternative? If they want to keep ingredients stocked. Then again, there's things you can do. I've watched cooking shows where there's steps you can take and how you cook them to rehabilitate and put some of the flavor and the texture back into either canned or frozen vegetables and other ingredients. It's not magic. It really depends on the skill of the chef, and there's limits to how far you can go with it. It's a substitute for what you really should be doing, which is having fresh ingredients. But a really good chef can do some impressive black magic with poor ingredients. Let's test the skill. I know this because my roomie in college was someone who worked in a 5-star restaurant. Not in an important capacity. He was like I forget what the name of the roles were. There's like a Varus, and then there's like different levels of chef. He was the lowest level of chef. So he wasn't like the main guy cooking things. He cooked did I think sauces, and he ferried ingredients around and shit like that. And they used to eat the leftover food at the end of the day and try to make good stuff out of it. That's true. That's true. So, I'm trying to imagine myself as a restaurant owner. If I'm trying to cut corners, do I go with canned vegetables or frozen ones? Which is it possible to breathe more life back into? And if not, then what do you do? How do you store them? Do you just try to locate your business next to a place where you can source fresh veggies year-round somehow? I guess that's the point of underground mushroom farms in fucking London. But yeah, I so deeply take for granted that the pizza will be at least decent at any restaurant, at Italian place I go to, that I don't doubt it. Like, if the pizza's bad, then I'm just fucking gobsmacked. I don't even know what to do. I've never had truly bad pizza at an actual Italian restaurant where it's like Italian people run it. It's not part of a chain. Usually it's a little hole in the wall. It's a little bit overpriced, but the salad's shit. The salad's always shit. It's like, I don't know, man. What do vegans eat? Vegans eat vegetables. Throw a lot of vegetables together. That's what you do. You just put a lot of veggies, some fucking pepperoncinis, some bell peppers, and you put them together with some lettuce and a aluminum pan, and that's what a salad is. Because we're Italian, and apparently Italy doesn't have salads. I like calzone. Calzones are a devil's bargain, though. I've complained before about how tacos are kind of a fool's gold item because they get all over you no matter what you do when you eat them. Crunchy tacos, which aren't really authentic anyway, so maybe it's my fault. But I have not talked before about how calzones burn the fuck out of you, the roof of your mouth, no matter how you eat them. It is. It's a little bit too punchy. They overdo some of the acceleration. Like, I can't stop myself where I need to be. It's like being on a ice rink. It feels fun and interesting, though. Like cartoonish, or like kind of like a 3D version of a Flash game from 2006. Are these cartoon steaks? They're not. Thought I saw the impossible. It's like Mario. You can jump on their heads. Pasta's another good one. Like, they should have, at minimum, good pizza, calzone, and pasta. But if the pasta isn't good, then what the fuck are they doing? It's just a money laundering. Actually, that's not true. I've talked to people who've been to very obvious money laundering pizza restaurants, like in fucking Brooklyn and whatnot. And usually the food is really good. It just takes a long time because they're not used to actually cooking for customers. But they are from Italian families. You know what, actually, I could eat all day, every day, as appetizers at certain restaurants. Like, how do Mexican restaurants always have the best chips you've ever tasted? I've heard that they make the chips in-house, fresh every day, but that seems Like, it would just be a never-ending process. They would have to assume there's going to be enough demand every day to eat all the chips they make, or they just wind up throwing a bunch of them out. Right? So it's just like a never-ending conveyor belt of freshly fried chips? Is that real? They're so fucking good. You're not kidding. If they're just starting out, if they just graduated from like a food truck and they just opened their first real restaurant and they used to only offer one item, you can expect that item to be good and competent, but they might, for a limited time, they might cheap out on some of the other stuff. And I'm a reasonable man. In that case, I would say bear with them through the growing pains. If you come back like a year later and they're still using canned sauce, then that's when you leave a bad review. Or like a lovingly constructive criticism review. No, that's real. In some places. Like in fucking... I forget where that was. God damn. Really good ramen, though. I've been craving it lately, but it's so fucking expensive. It keeps going up in price because of inflation. It really matters, too. It's not easy to do good ramen. There's this fucking... It's just gonna sound weird, like a weird association, but it's like the Reddit of ramen places. It's got fucking anime posters up everywhere. Everybody who works there is white. It has it's got like a lot of neon signs inside. It's trying to look like cyberpunk, Tokyo kind of aesthetic. Sometimes the servers cosplay, and it's bad. Like the broth is okay, but the noodles are just bad. The noodles are like one or two steps above instant noodles, and they get a lot of business though because they're right by OMSI, which is a science museum, so families will often go to the science museum and they get ramen afterwards. And I guess if you don't eat a lot of ramen, you don't know the difference. You can't tell you've been swindled. But the best ramen place I've ever eaten at is in this really low rent business park where it's got like 12 businesses in the same building. And their ramen shop is one of only two that have an out-facing opening, so they can have on sidewalk seating, which is now probably extending into the street because every Portland restaurant now has on-street seating since COVID. That's the best ramen I ever had. It was $14 a bowl. Tonkatsu, which is I think pork, isn't it? Ramen, lean pork cutlets, black garlic and yuzu, which is like an Asian lemon flavoring in the broth, leeks, or green onion. And holy shit, like just the broth was enough to raise the dead. Like a good broth is like that. There's differing opinions on what the most important aspect of ramen is. I've read a lot of different reviews because I'm a broke man with expensive tastes that don't really suit my position in life. But a lot of people say noodles, but the people I trust say it's the broth. The broth is the heart and soul. It's the core of the ramen. You can get by with mediocre noodles, which the other place, Nico Yama Ramen or some shit, it's by the museum. They skirt having bad noodles by having decent ramen broth. And I say decent, like a passing grade, not the best broth. But I forget the fucking name of the other one too. I wouldn't give it anyway. I don't want to dox myself. It's like Kamoyami or some shit. You go in there's actual Japanese people who don't speak English, so you know it's going to be good. And the bowls are big, so you pay a lot, but you get a lot. And the noodles are good too. It's like there aren't any compromises. It's a zero compromise ramen, and they price it accordingly. It's probably more like $20 now. But the broth was the star of the show. Holy shit, I've never had such good broth before. It tastes dense. It feels in your mouth the way that hot air feels to walk through. It tastes rich. It's fucking juicy, rich broth. And they're generous on the toppings too. There was like a half-inch of toppings left at the bottom of the bowl after I finished eating. I mean, after there was only broth left, rather. Oh, you got me fantasizing about unaffordable food now. That's a dangerous thing to do. There we go. Everything runs on fucking Energizer batteries. That makes sense. Yeah, that was what contributed a lot to the density of the broth. There was so much oil in it that you could see like oil slicks floating on the top of it. I don't mean like the normal ones you see anyway, because broth is typically pretty oil heavy. I mean like big ones, like 3 inches across. It was oily. It took years off my life, but you know what? It took years off the end of my life, which are usually not quality years anyway. Uh-oh. What do they know? Is this an endless spawner? I can't go in there. It is. Oh, you can kick explosive barrels in there. Yeah, the two things I really need to never eat, because I can't afford them, frankly, is expensive ramen and seafood. I try to eat seafood. I haven't for a while because I got de-approved for food stamps because I submitted the wrong information when trying to get the amount increased. But and actually that's not what happened. I didn't renew them in time. You have to renew them annually. I didn't notice that. Could have been some of each. Having food stamps means instead of just eating beans and rice and shit like that, I can actually have good food a little bit each month. And now I can't anymore. And I'm back down to starvation foods. I got a lot of canned chili. I got a lot of instant ramen. I'm alive, but at what cost? This is pretty creative. I don't think I've ever seen a cardboard punk shooter before. That's what I would eat every day, though. If I was a billionaire, I'd have a couple of food-related luxuries. One would be international chefs that are able to do authentic versions of dishes I like. One would be non-stop chips and salsa. I could just eat the fucking appetizers. Did they let you do that? Did they get mad if you go to a Mexican restaurant and you're like, I don't want anything off the menu? I just want chips and salsa and drinks and like coffee or soda or something. Is that on the menu where you live? Can I go to a Mexican restaurant and just hang out there while I'm work on my laptop and have them keep bringing me chips and salsa and then bill me at the end? Onigiri. Oh, you mean jelly donuts, according to 4Kids animation. These sure are delicious jelly donuts. Which, to be fair, there's no American kid who was going to know what fucking onigiri is. They could have just said rice balls, and we would have been like, that's weird, but at least we would have learned something, too. Really? Alright, so if I buy alcohol, then who's going to drive home? I've gone to IKEA. Is this sad? I don't know if I should say this or not. I've gone to IKEA before just to eat. It's because I haven't had their meatballs in a while since they stopped using horse, and it's just not the same anymore. I've gone there for the food though, because they have besides having really good meatballs and mashed potatoes, they also have this one dish I forget the name of. It's a Swedish national dish. I have them leave the eggs off, but it's like a bunch of seafood on toast. It's pretty tasty, actually. Yeah, I just like IKEA. It's got a good vibe. Everything's clean, everything's efficient, everything's spacious and well kept, and it's got a nice little cafeteria by big windows. You can look out on a rainy day and snack on your Swedish food. Swedish meatballs. I love eating at IKEA, but it's almost my car's entire range away. And my car takes 4 hours to charge off a level 2 charger. What makes me wish I had a Gen 2 Volt. I don't think I want a Tesla, even if I could afford them, because of the repair cost. I would probably just get another plug-in hybrid, like a Gen 2 Volt. The last model year of Volt ever made by GM had an optional super fast onboard charger that could make the most out of level 2. It wasn't like a true fast charger. It wasn't level 3. But it could charge a 50-mile battery in 2 hours. Which is much more reasonable than me hanging out for fucking 4 hours at IKEA. It doesn't sound like a big difference, 2 hours, 4 hours. It is. 2 hours is like a reasonable amount of time to walk around and look at shit and then eat your food at IKEA and work on your laptop. 4 hours is not. Especially when that 4 hours only gets you 30 miles. You keep saying that, Short Talk. I keep trying to talk you out of it. My man here, Short Talk, lives in Alaska, and he wants to get a pure BEV instead of PHEV. Well, somebody talk some sense into this man. You're living in a snowy state where it's so cold in the winter that you could... What if your car stalls on the side of the road? Or, actually, that's not going to happen in a BEV. What if you got stuck in traffic, huh? And you waste all your battery on the heater. What are you going to do then? In a PHEV, you got gas, and the waste heat from the gas heats your cabin. If you lived in like California or Arizona, I'd be like, sure, great idea, because you're not going to waste that much energy climate conditioning your car. Can I not get up there? Plug-in hybrid is what Starter Gift meant to say, not a hybrid. If you're going to get a hybrid, you may as well get a plug-in hybrid because it's the same thing but better. And you save a lot more money on fuel being able to avoid using any if you do only short trips. Basically, I think in the year of our Lord 2023, every gas vehicle should at minimum be a plug-in hybrid. How much battery capacity they need is the area of reasonable debate, I think. That's what I told him. I told him that mostly I am an electric car guy. I love electric cars. But unless you're going to go Tesla, in which case you'll be fine because you have the supercharger network to use, or unless you're going to wait until all the other brands also use NACS, North American Charging Standard, which they will in a couple years. You're better off in a cold climate like Alaska with a plug-in hybrid because an internal combustion engine stops being stupid in the cold It's a stupid... A combustion engine is dumb in a warm state because you throw away almost all the energy in gasoline. Not only moving the car, but running the alternator to power a heat pump or an AC. Whereas, which only generates more waste heat. Whereas in a cold climate, the waste heat gets piped into the cabin and heats you. So the functional efficiency of the engine goes way up. Cold climates are about the only justification that I know of for combustion engines. They're great in the cold, if you can get them to turn over, but that's what block heaters are for. Actually, that's a good argument for plug-in hybrids, too. You could use the hybrid battery to heat the engine in situations like that. That's a fair point, Short Talk. All I'm saying is, actually, I used to say the most important thing was range, because if you're going to get a non-Tesla car, you need a big range, because the non-Tesla charging network is not reliable. Now I would say if you can get a car that has NACS, North American Charging Standard, that's not as important anymore, because you can use superchargers. And superchargers are reliable. The reason one's not reliable is that the ChargePoint America, Volta, a lot of the other non-Tesla chargers were built under duress, under compulsion from the government. Like Volkswagen built their charging network as a punishment for Dieselgate, their emissions standard test falsifications. So they built what they were obligated to build, but then they didn't fucking maintain it because they didn't have to. Which, I mean, if the government forces you to do something, why wouldn't you play games like that? But superchargers, Tesla wants to do that. They do it voluntarily. They make money off of it. So supercharger is everywhere you need it to be. It's already all over the country. It's really fast charging. It's a good experience. So if you just wait a little while, Toyota, BMW, I forget the full list, but a bunch of automakers are making NACS EVs. And even if you, I think even if the car doesn't support NACS, they're still going to work with adapters. Here's the other thing, though. You want, at bare minimum, 150 kilowatt charging. I think for Tesla Model 3, it's actually 170 kilowatts, which is above the industry standard. But these days, if you have NACS, the total range of your battery is not as important as how fast it recharges. Because if you have a 300 mile EV that has 50 kilowatt charging, that's worse now than having a 200 mile BEV that has 150 kilowatt charging. Because you can almost treat it like a gas vehicle because it charges so quickly. They've always been in kilowatt range. They never haven't been. Oh, that was the end of the level. It's just some of them are very low because the law doesn't obligate them to supply any more. And upgrades to the local grids of like hotels and grocery stores would be necessary to supply super high kilowatt chargers. The other thing is a lot of EV makers are shifting to higher voltage batteries because higher voltage allows them to charge more quickly without stressing the batteries as much or producing as much heat. Yeah. You're absolutely right, Strategif. It used to be that, like, the Chevy Bolt has some kind of paltry limit, like 50 kilowatts or some shit, which is unusable in the modern day. In most of the documentaries where they try to shit all over EVs, they show Bolt owners, like, with blankets over them, waiting in the fast charging parking lot, which is funny. You shouldn't have to wait for a fast charger. It's called a fast charger. 50 kilowatts is not enough, though, for a serious fast charging EV. You're looking at like an hour for 200 miles. It's not 30 minutes. 30 minutes is 0 to 80. And for a 200 mile battery, that's not actually great. Also, Toyota reportedly is about to come out with a 745 mile EV, and they have announced a follow-up in the coming years that will be 900 something miles. Supposedly they made a big breakthrough with solid state batteries. I don't know how much of this is true and how much is just marketing ploy to drive investment. I don't think Toyota would do that though. They're reputable. But I also didn't know that solid state would be that much of an improvement. Most of the white papers I've read, most of the papers I've read, put the improvement in energy density at like 2 times. So that wouldn't explain where the extra range is coming from. That would get you like 600 miles. It wouldn't get you 745, and it sure as hell wouldn't get you 900. If they can be believed, though, we're about to enter the age of close to 1,000-mile EVs, which I think is going to be a gimmick and short-lived because no one actually needs that. The only reason that they'll sell any is because there are ignorant consumers who are used to gas vehicles and don't trust electric vehicles unless they have huge ranges. I think that's wasted money. A battery that size, I think sanity will eventually prevail after automakers make a couple of high-priced gimmick long-range vehicles, and consumers get more experience with EVs and realize what they need and what they don't need. At which point the average range will sink to about 400 to 500 miles, I think. And the priority, instead of everybody being all histrionic about range, which is the current anxiety because that's where batteries are right now, the focus will shift to charging times, which is where it needs to be, frankly. I don't envy them. F-150 Lightning is not NAS. And while you can do EV road trips off the supercharger network, you don't want to. It's not a good experience. A bunch of people have done that and got stranded. You can avoid getting stranded if you're smart. It takes a lot of planning. There are apps like PlugShare that let you check in advance which chargers are operational and as of which dates. So you can research ahead of time and plot your course in Google Earth, but that's way more planning than the average American motorist is used to doing. Realize gas cars require basically zero planning. You jump in your car and you go, and wherever you go there's gas stations. And they fill you up in 5 minutes and you're on the road again for another 400 miles. That's what people are used to. It feels like a huge burden to drive an electric vehicle only by comparison to the absolute convenience that they're accustomed to. What we need in order to reach that point with EVs is faster charging. I think 200 is like the bare minimum I would consider as your only car, and that's with very fast charging. I think 200 is not really enough. It's just enough to be a regular person's only car if you're on a budget, if it has 150 kilowatt charging. It's not really ideal though. I think 300 miles is a much more comfortable number, and 400 is about ideal. 400 is, I think, all most people really need for their only car, if it has 150 kilowatt charging. If we can get it down to 10 minutes though, it won't matter nearly so much. Indeed, the issue is infrastructure, which is not a problem for Teslas, and soon not a problem for cars if their manufacturer cuts a deal with Tesla, which is going to be a big influx of cash to Elon Musk, by the way, which he sorely needs after making the ill-advised purchase of Twitter. Although, having said that, I hope he buys Reddit too, just because they deserve it, frankly. Yeah, I just watched a fully charged episode where they drove a 1901 Waverly, which was, I think, one of the first consumer electric cars. It could travel at 18 miles an hour for 60 miles on flooded lead-acid batteries. And if you tipped over, God help you, because that sulfuric acid would get all over you, and you'd have a bad day. You'd have a real bad time. And you had to have a source of distilled water and open up the batteries and top off the electrolyte lost to evaporation about once a month, because they were not sealed and they didn't recapture their own fumes in the way that modern batteries capture and reintroduce the hydrogen that would otherwise be lost. Lead batteries, anyway. Yeah, that would really shake things up if Elon bought Reddit too. Can you imagine? What a dream come true that would be. As goofy as he's been lately, he's just kind of an immature guy, and he seems less retarded to me by far than anyone else that has that kind of power. Elon, I mean, Jeff Bezos is more stable, but also kind of just eviler. Strikes me as like a high-functioning psychopath. PRG, miracles, nature's way. PRG. What corporation is this? I can't have Coke, bottom text. That's cute. Yeah, good news for everybody though, because Tesla has the only real charging network that's actually usable, where every charger is a fast charger. There are destination chargers, but only at hotels. Every other charger on the network is a fast charger, and that's what we needed from day one. A lot of the other chargers try to get by under the pretext that it's fine to have a 4-hour charger at like a shopping mall or something, but not really. If you're stuck relying on those for long trips just because you can't find a fast charger in a non-Tesla EV, that'll ruin your day in a hurry. You don't want to spend 4 hours at every stop charging if your car only goes 200 miles on a charge. Actually, it's longer than that in a car with a battery that size. It's like fucking 10 or 11 hours. Your kids would be really upset before long. Next, though, best thing that could have happened. All EVs will be a lot less shitty very soon. It's just a question of moving everything up to 800 volt batteries, which Generation 2 Cybertrucks will be, by the way. I don't know for sure. I'm fingers crossed that 800 volts is what it takes to make 10-minute fast charging feasible. That's 10 minutes, 0 to 80%. I'm not sure if we'll ever get 10 minutes to full. I would settle for... I think 10 minutes is a threshold where it's twice as long as a gas stop, but it's still short enough that the average consumer would just kind of grunt and sigh and shrug and get over it. I think 30 minutes is too big of an ask. That also sounds, on paper, like a trivial difference. It's really not. If you ever stop someplace at like a rest stop and force yourself to stay there longer than you want to, then it's like time dilation. Your perception of time slows down. When you're on a trip, you just want to get back on the road. Biofold. See, that's good news. That's good news. Like I said, I think Toyota is barking up the wrong tree. It's impressive. It's impressive that it's possible. The energy density they're achieving in their solid-state batteries will be useful, but probably more for like RVs and vans and trucks. I don't think consumer sedans need to be able to drive 900 miles on a charge. The only reason that sounds necessary now is because of how slow charging is. Do you have a flashlight? I don't. You see what I mean? Like theoretically, if you have a 200, even a 200-mile EV, if you can charge in 10 minutes, it's just not a big deal anymore. If it's on NACS and chargers are fucking everywhere. Because most people don't even drive 200 miles at a time on trips. They stop more frequently than that. So if you can be guaranteed that there will be fast chargers that are capable of 10-minute charging to 80% everywhere you go, that's 180 miles of range every time you stop, assuming you only stop for the minimum time frame. Then that's a problem solved. There's a... It is. It actually is exactly a Volt. It has exactly the same specs as the Gen 1 Volt, which is about a 30 to 35 mile range on battery. But they're charging like Gen 1 Volt when it was brand new prices, just because it's a new car, which is kind of nuts in 2023. That's what I would get now if I had to choose. If the Volt didn't exist. The Volt does exist though. If I had to choose now in 2023, I get a Gen 2 Volt with a 2-hour charger. It says 60 miles. It's really 50. The way I drive, it's 50 miles on a Gen 2 Volt battery, and then you can charge to full in 2 hours. I don't think I'm gonna make any progress, so I'm gonna. I can just select weapon. I mean levels. Excuse me, from here. I can't stop burping. No, this is the same level. I like this a lot. I think this is stylistically promising. Oh, I have a pencil now. I can draw. Ink is the ammunition. Erasing is, I guess, the attack. Oh, does that hurt me? Is that fucking shit? There's flies everywhere. It is. That's just doo-doo feces. You can draw different stuff. Interesting. That's an interesting mechanism. I'm out of ink. Oh, and you have to sharpen the pencil. Interesting. I'm not sure if that's how you do that. Using razor blades, it's kind of edgy. This is really creative. Combat's fun once you get the hang of it. It's a little bit bombastic and kinetic, but if you like movement shooters and you're good at them, there's lots of love here. There's a concept back in the 60s of an ultra fast lane for driverless cars. Their concept of driverless cars was to embed permanent rare earth magnets into pavement and use a magnetism detector on the bottom of the car to keep it straight. Which probably would have worked, but it would have been expensive. And you wouldn't have known anything was wrong or the magnets needed replacing until there was a major accident. The idea was this would make it safe for cars to go like 200 miles an hour in their own special lane. The vision of the future in the 60s was turbine automobiles, not electric. It was turbine gas cars going to, it looks like fucking jets or like the OG Batmobile, using magnets in the road to navigate, and having a driverless mode that's like ultra cruise control. We could probably still do that if we had wireless charging embedded in the roads to power the motor so that it didn't wear down the battery prematurely. In which case you could have super speed roads. which might be cool. I mean, it's more likely than ever getting high-speed rail in the United States. American Autobahn, yeah. Except only allowed for driverless cars, because also American motorists. Finally, a real gun. Holy shit. No reload animation, oddly enough. I like the idea of a cardboard FPS. There's this guy who does cardboard games on his YouTube channel. That's like papercraft activity. Feels good, looks good, sounds good. Kind of wacky, a little bit mid-2000s edgy. I'm not complaining, though. It does feel like a 3D Flash game. Can't auto-kick forever, otherwise it'd be way too easy. I don't know if I like this as much as High Stakes. Similarly, fast-paced movement shooter. Probably save this for gun-wielding enemies. Same thing as Doom 3. Remember when Doom 3 did that? No, John, you are the demons. And then John was a zombie. Why can't I get up there? God damn it, this chat's got me wanting expensive food again. It's probably mostly my fault, to be frank. I hope my book does well. If I could just score a Netflix series also, that would achieve the same end. And I would be taken care of financially. I wouldn't be a broke ass MF anymore. I could have a wife and a family. I could have ramen. Maybe not afford both, in which case that'd be a tough choice, one or the other. You have to choose kids or ramen. I have, actually. What I've been more impressed by, also, Strider GIF, is how small automotive air pumps have gotten. Or like for bicycle tires. I have a tiny one. I thought it was the smallest thing they could possibly get. It's like the size of a brick, basically. It has its own lithium battery built in. It's made by Xiaomi. But then there was one announced on Kickstarter that's the size of like a roll of quarters. And I'm like, I don't understand reality anymore. How is this possible? Why is this happening? The power to weight ratio of the motors used in these pumps has got to be increasing far beyond what I understood to be possible before. To explain the kinds of size reductions we're seeing, which is heartening. That's really good, a really good sign. Probably the two things are related: air turbines and air pumps. Why that's good news is they're also dropping in price, so we could reasonably expect at some point in the near future that that tire pumps will be built into the car in the same way that they have been for years in the first generation Hummer. In which case you would never need to top up your tires again because the car would do it for you. Which for someone like me with a slow leak in one of his wheels, that would be a dream come true. Greatly delay having to buy new wheels or new tires. I don't think it's a tire problem for me. I do think it's the wheel. Shit. He's perfect. Look at the long boy. Uh-oh. This seems like an obvious red flag that we're about to fight a boss. Pigs. Count 665. Do one more. Yeah, why isn't that on every car? Now that pumps are getting smaller, cheaper, and more powerful, I hope that we get them as a standard feature on all cars. They should be. Especially if you have self-sealing tubes. How cool would that be? You don't even have to fucking get out of your car. You just wait for the puncture to seal itself and then you reinflate. It'll also be a great feature for robots to have so they can autonomously repair flat tires instead of requiring human intervention. Am I going the right way? I don't know. This is where this was the right way once upon a time. Welcome to Motliog. I don't know what that means. Even motorcycles could have it pretty soon, given how small that World of Quarters is. And that's including the battery. That's including an RCR 123A, which is not an 18650. It's about half to a third the size of an 18650. If you just remove that and wire it into the 12-volt system, bing bang boom, Bob's your uncle. I think I've done as much as I can here. At least we get to see all the maps. The point after all is to be entertaining, not to beat the game fair and square. Meat and skin. I feel you, meat and skin, brothers. Meat and skin, foreskin specifically. Reality hacker. Oh. Well. That's pretty cool. Oh, spooky chair, spooky chair. Not the little spooky chair. Haunted furniture. Truly the worst hell. Can't see where I am. Whose chair is that? That's how you spell it. It's whose with an E. Idiot. Fucking glorious fool. So the prior two levels were supposed to introduce a healing system. But I skipped that. I regret nothing. Fair enough. a stapler. Maybe hack something. Need more blood. Blood. Needs to be hacked somehow. So I see a symbol here. Erase in the correct spot. Erase wrong. Staples. Is that a clue? Anyway, it's quitting time. This was an interesting experience. I might come back to this and beat it legitimately. Probably not, though. We had an interesting, eclectic mixture of experiences this evening. Sorry I'm big, dummy, stupid, sexy, dum-dum, and did not have the Aver Media set up to connect via USB 3 to my main PC from which I normally stream tonight. I promise I will at the latest by next month. Because I don't just want to stream from the new Atari, which everyone's like, new Atari? Yeah, that's a thing that exists and has since 2021. I want the capability to be able to stream from anything that puts out HDMI, which is a lot of funny little jank consoles that came out over the years, which would be an interesting segment of the stream. That's why I wanted to upgrade the computer in the first place, was to stream VR games in order to expand my repertoire and thus have more material to share with you fellows. But I got to thinking, what is it that makes watching a stream entertaining? It's not how advanced the games are. It's not if they're new or relevant. It's that it's interesting and entertaining to watch. It doesn't have to be fun for me as the player. So I was thinking, who is streaming shit like the Subor Z Plus, which is like the Chinese knockoff Xbox? Nobody. Nobody is streaming Subor content. Nobody is streaming Ouya. Has anyone streamed Ouya? In this, the year of our Lord 2023, all the content is free now. I may as well try to score a used Ouya and be the only Ouya streamer. At what cost, you might ask? Which is a fair question, frankly. But that's what I'm looking to do. That's my plans for the future of the channel. It's just to stream oddball hardware, now that I have the setup necessary to do that. And stuff I can't easily emulate, because otherwise there's no point and I should just emulate it. Look forward to that. I don't know when. I guess more than a week, less than a month probably. I probably won't have it ready by the next stream or the one after that, though. But get at me anyway on Wednesday. Same ham time, same ham channel. That's 7 o'clock p.m. West Coast time to 11 o'clock p.m. This is your friendly neighborhood hand dad signing off and returning you to your regularly scheduled sleepy time.